Hey guys, brand new podcast, and it's a good one. Birdie Boy Relapse Tour. I'm right now in Memphis. You can see I have a Memphis wearing hat. We were gonna have mint juleps tonight, but chose against it. I think we're calling it a night. We have an early bus call. We're in Evansville tomorrow. We are in next week. We're in Durham, Greensboro, back to Durham, then Fayetteville and Knoxville to close out this run, and then we have a couple weeks off, and then we're back out on the road. I don't know where we are, but you can go to bert.com to check it out. I hope you guys are having a great week. I'm sorry this is late. We are on the road. I'm burning it at both ends. I did 2 Bears, 1 Cave in Austin this week. Had some great meals. Partied too hard, so we are in recovery mode. So we're getting in bed before bus call. Today's podcast is with my buddy Jared Freid. Jared Freid has a great podcast called The J Train. He watches The Bachelorette or The Bachelor every week on his Instagram. He's a great guy to hang out and podcast with, but most importantly, he has a special right now. We talk about this in the podcast. We talk about his parents a lot. Him and his brother and his parents have a really, really tight relationship, much like me and my sisters and our parents. He's got a special out right now on YouTube called Socially Distanced, of course. It's a great podcast. You're going to love it. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, my buddy, stand-up comedian, podcaster from the J Train, new special on YouTube called Socially Distanced, of course, Jared Freid. You know, we were just in Wichita? No, Springfield, Missouri. And there's no mask. But I think they're ending the mask mandate in LA.
The 15th. That's what I just saw.
Really?
Dude, it's done.
Is it?
I think it's done. I think it's done.
That's why.
Well, the minute people started saying, you know what, I should get COVID this week so I can travel to Tulum next month. The minute we started planning out our COVIDs, that's when it got like nutty, like that. And no one wants to admit, like, there's like an economic thing here, like where it's like, you're rich enough to miss a week of work. So you're like, oh, I'll just get the COVID.
Yeah.
And then, cause you're not afraid, again, when you talk about this, you're like waiting for someone to be like, but my grandma died 7 times from it, and you're like, I don't want to sound bad, but like, this is, no one can just speak,
I made a comment. I probably look like shit. I just woke up. I made a comment on stage the other night addressing that people have been passed from COVID, and the audience laughed. And I was like
Pat, what do you mean?
Like people that we've lost people to COVID.
Oh, they didn't even relate.
They thought I was joking, and I was like, I wasn't joking, because I got COVID and it was
bad.
No, I mean, I thought it was a hangover.
I never got it.
You never got it?
3. I'm all vaxxed up and never really.
Well, I think from what I understand, the vaccine was. I don't even know why I talk about it. This is what, because I would never listen to anyone talking about it.
No, I would not.
And you listen to fucking.
We're only talking about it because we don't want to be mean to someone who like really cares about it. And the honest truth is, I'm like doing, if it's your house, your rules. If I walked in here and you were like mask up, shoes off, I'd be like, what the fuck am I going to do? Like, I don't want to keep fighting this battle. Like, I don't care, and as much as that sounds tone deaf, like I don't, you can be, what bothers me are the excuses. You go to the hotel and they're like, there's no housekeeping. You go, well, fuck you, Marriott Bonvoy. You got PPE. Pay them more.
Yeah.
Pay some fucking people. They put it on us. The worker bees, we're fighting against each other. And I've never been this like anti-corporate. Like I love, people making money. I love supply and demand.
I've always been pro-corporation.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny. When there was a book called The Fountainhead, and you ever read it?
No.
Okay, so there's 2 characters. There's Howard Rourke and Peter Keating.
Okay.
I think you're supposed to not like Peter Keating.
Okay.
But I loved him.
He's the corporate
He's the
guy?
sellout. He's a sellout. He's a sellout where they're like, hey man, because it's all about architecture, and they're like, we like what you're doing, but I think that building could use gargoyles. And be like, sure, gargoyles are all around. Don't give a fuck. Your check cashes, right?
Yeah.
Your check's good? All right, gargoyles everywhere.
This fucking thing is about to look like a Disney movie.
It's funny because I don't view my stand-up that way, but I do view my career that way, where I have been forced. I'm always jealous of people who have been able to do it their way and
I think you're too hard on yourself. Everyone does this. TikTok is the perfect example. TikTok, because what people do is they get one hit on TikTok's social media socialism. Everyone has a chance to pop off. So then if someone pops off with like, I play one drum and that's, when I fucking make fart noises, I'm the fart noise guy.
Dude,
and you do it over and over and over again. So they're just following the money. They're following the hits. Likes and views are the same thing as a currency.
Yeah.
The idea that there's these artists out there, everyone is doing, like when I do a bit about my family and it works, I'm like, awesome. And then I see the type of fan I get from like talking about my family. I go, that's what I want. Bring on the family bits. I start doing more of that shit because I like the feeling of it. So
there's a dad who does a flip bat swing. Have you ever seen him?
I can't look away from his videos. The flip bat swing, and he's good at it.
And he's good looking. And he's
good looking.
Charming.
Red hair. He's got. You wonder what he does for a living because he's got a nice house.
Yeah, I wonder what he does for a living, but I know for a fact I don't know how he's monetized that bat flip. Like, but that's all he does.
That's all he does.
That's all he does. And listen, and anyone wants to be critical of a comedian going, you're such a fucking. It is our nature to sell out.
Yes.
You look at, there's one kid I follow who goes, he's got a catchphrase. He's in all my things. He goes, it's like, go to McDonald's and tell them to fill up a bag with fries. Are you crazy? Like that. He does. Are you crazy?
Hold on, Bert. You're talking to a guy who gave himself the nickname the Board Lord because I started yelling at charcuterie boards. So on Instagram, I started making these. During the pandemic, before the pandemic, I tweeted, I could tell what type of mother you'd be by your charcuterie board. Then everyone's like, what would I be? And start sending me pictures. So I started writing these long dissertations on what type of person you are based on the charcuterie board. Then it turned into charcuterie chat and I'm screaming on YouTube. Then TikTok comes out. I'm putting out charcuterie. I'm yelling at a Kardashian charcuterie board. People send me charcuterie boards every day. And I'm like, and I know people love them. I'm sitting here, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll do a fucking try. And then people come to shows, they go, love the Board Lord stuff. I go, love that you're here. Now you can fucking hear me talk about my farts. Like, I'm not gonna sit here, but like, I'm not doing it because I have this love of meats and cheeses. Yeah. I have a love of talking shit. And this is the world that lets me do that, where people go, they're gonna stop scrolling if they, someone who likes me, the small group of people that like me, they go, charcuterie? This guy, he yells at charcuterie. I'm playing the hits. Like I am like, I don't think anyone's above that though, because people do that. Some people act like they're above it because they're talking about smarter things, but the smarter things are what brings people in to talk. You know what I mean? Like, they just because they're talking about politics or cancel culture, and you're like, I don't even know if that's a smarter thing anymore. But like, I don't care about those topics. I care about charcuterie. I care about what straw the restaurant gives me. I care about
oh my God,
ice. We talked last time I was here. We were talking about ice. Like, these are the things that I get jacked up about, but they're stupid. But I like that people like the stupid things.
I found that to push content, meaning the less I take in, and I'm really bad at Instagram. I mean, Instagram's my legit addiction. Right now I have a song playing in my head that's an Instagram song what's the greatest thing in life? I've had it playing in my head right now, but that's how much I'm on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram aggressively. I don't know. I think the medium is appealing to me and it distracts me. I have done this thing with Twitter that is the best thing I've ever done. I'll show you how I read Twitter, okay? So today's Johnny Hecker's birthday. Oh, let's see.
The kicker?
Yeah, he's fucking awesome. He is maybe the best player on the Rams all around, because when he does have the ball in his hand, he's more effective than any one person on a percentage basis.
The kickers this season have been unbelievable, in general in the league.
Yeah. Oh, dude, the fuck these games. So this is what I've done. Now I'm dyslexic for one, but also I'm getting older, so my eyes are bad. So I don't use So I don't use the app. I use the thing, so you can't really read it.
It's
right?
so small.
It's so small. So what I do is I go and I go, oh, I'm not going to be able to see that.
Yeah.
So I can't read Twitter.
Well, there are people. There's like this. You can switch the coloring of your phone to black and white, and they say it makes it less. It's less like a like a game anymore. So it makes you want to look at your phone less. And I did that. It's called like something scape. Something you can change the coloring, and it makes your eyes want it less, or your brain want it less. I changed it for like an hour. I was like, no, I need it. I'm so fucking addicted.
I can't. Twitter is very different. So like the other day, stuff went down with Joe, and I was like, and I don't. By the way, I'm not going to talk about it on this podcast. Anyone that's coming to the podcast to hear my hot take, that's definitely not what I do. That's definitely not what I do, and I definitely don't do it to my close friends. I'm not going to leverage, because you know my take. I love that man. The guy's done more for me as a friend. I'm talking about it as a friend. The guy's one of the greatest guys in the world, in my opinion. That's my friend. I stand by my friends. I'm a ride or die motherfucker. Okay, but. I posted a picture on Instagram just saying I'm very lucky to have him as a friend. And I was like, I'm not getting into the comments. I don't want to read the comments. The same thing went up on Twitter. And I saw the comments were pretty much over the top, 100% agreement on Instagram. And I went, oh, nice. And then I went over to Twitter. I couldn't see it. So I had to scroll big. And I just saw one that was a guy going, where the fuck are you, Bert? You're not standing up for Joe. And I went, hold on. And then he saw the picture. And he was like, yeah, good. You better not take it down, motherfucker.
No, it's so
annoying.
And
I'm like, okay. And I was like, by the way, you're dead. Twitter, you're dead to me. You're dead to me. Because that dude's on there.
This guy.
That dude's on there and he's dead to me.
Yelling at you like you better do it.
Like, what are you? He's his exact words. And I hope he hears this because he'll know who he is. I only know who you are because of Joe. You better fucking support him. I was like, bitch, dude, I know the man. I know the man very well. Like, he's one of my best friends.
It's not about.
Oh my God.
It's not about Joe. Like, that guy needs his team. He needs to, get the Avengers together. And it's like, this whole team mentality, go talk to your family, dude. Like, go hug your mom or dad or something.
Yeah, go sit down with your parents.
Go talk to a human being. I don't know. I all of this. Like, when I see it, this is like, it's like, the problem is what people don't want to hear is that digesting words, you have to digest words. And it does hurt. When you read that, you take it in your eyes.
Oh, it hurt my feelings. I thought,
you digest it. Am I doing enough? Do people think?
Do people think that I'm not friends with Joe? That I'm the kind of person that would form a friendship based on a business decision? That I didn't discover Joe before that dude did, that I didn't know who Joe Rogan was way before that guy, that I wasn't listening to the first 3 episodes because my best friend was on it with him, that when I had the opportunity to do whatever 30 plus episodes of Joe Rogan, that those 90 hours I've spent with Joe doing podcasts, that dude. But that's what goes through your head, and then you go, and then you go, oh wait, this guy's a fucking lunatic. Yeah. When he found it, and then he was like, "Good, you better not take it down." Like, who do you think you're threatening?
Well, and
big
it's
guy?
just you digest it. You literally took us through it, going through your eyes, through your brain, in your stomach, and you shit it out. And that you have to. It's a human thing. Because like I'll look at my brother. He's always like, just fucking ignore it. And you're like, you can't. It goes through you. It tastes like bad milk. And and honestly, I don't care about, like, I always, whenever I look at like whatever thing's going on, I go, oh, here's an opinion here's like a middle of the road opinion that no one would fucking care about because it's not that guy enough and it's not the other way enough. And you go and you're just like, I don't know. I just posted something about straws on Instagram and I've never been happier. Because I'm like sitting here, it's about the buoyancy of the straw. My family doesn't use straws. When a cup comes with the straw in it, the whole family, without even realizing it, takes it, puts it on the table.
Well, there's a whole group of people that will say these straws are killing turtles.
Again.
And they'll lose their shit. And you
like,
go,
how did we get here?
It's like all of a sudden, Twitter allows you it allows crazy people entrance into your life where I would never interact.
Dude, I think of social media like a party I'm throwing. I'm throwing a party. And how insane would it be to come to the party and be like, what the fuck with the straws? You'd be like, get out of here. The music's playing. Go home. Go to another party.
Yeah.
Every time I see these people, like, listen, dude, I yell at the Bachelor. And some people are like, and sometimes it's evolved. It started as me tweeting about The Bachelor and making fun of it. Then I was yelling it on Instagram stories. It used to be like 10 stories. Now it's 100 stories. And I'm putting it up every Monday night. I take the night off to do it. It has become my own show.
Yeah.
And I love it because it is just a way to be funny. It's a device to be funny. And I go on there and I started using TikToks where I put my face on items they were using. Like some woman threw a trophy last week. So I put my face on the trophy and I'm like, yeah, it hurt to be handled that way. And the mental trauma is worse than the bumps and bruises. And I'm like, and some woman wrote back to me. She's like, it's enough with the faces. We get it. And I go, block, you're gone, bitch.
Yeah.
Like the idea you came to my party that I'm throwing for free. I put out the alcohol, I put out the funnies, I put out the trophy, and you're going, you went a little far with
enough
too much.
with the faces.
And I go, you are out. I'll lead you out. I'm going to lead you to the door, and you can go to your fun party where you do no faces.
I've never left. I'm sure I have. I'm sure I have. Let's just say I'm not in the habit of leaving negative comments. And I remember one time I texted with Nikki Glazer because we both wanted to leave a negative comment on someone's post. And I texted with her and we texted back and forth and you get it out of your system.
Yeah.
But like I've never.
Well, that means you have true friends. Like the person that needs to go to your thing to do negative has no Nikki Glazer. You know, they don't have the person to get it out of their system. Like I had the same thing today. Another comment, a comic put up a video of their stand-up bit. And what bothers me is when other comics do it, because
I have a real problem with comics eating our own. I have a real problem. Like I get because I'm a ride or die for all comics. Meaning we all have the same brain. We all have the same thing. I understand. I do completely. I want them to know. I understand the jealousy. I understand when times are tough and you're not making money on the road and you see other people making money. It's very easy to dislike that person and to shit on them. And I've been there. I have totally been there.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't shit on them publicly. Maybe I didn't have social media to be able to attack people at the time. Maybe I would have. I don't know. I'm not going to say I didn't. Yeah. I've laughed at like, when comics make missteps, not cancellation, but like, Kyle Cease did the fucking comedy boot camp. I made fun of him with all the other comics. Just
I don't know what that is.
It's old guy shit. But like when I watch comics go after each other, and they're more than welcome to, I understand it, I get it, but it's not in my thing.
But that's for a group chat for you to talk shit on alone with your friends. The idea that I'm not talking shit about other comics, of course I am. Of course. Yeah. I think there are people that I am legit, like I have.
But I'm guilty. I've talked shit about comics on podcasts. I've talked shit about comics. I've done it a lot. And I'm well aware of my shortcomings. I've regretted it, and I've reached out to those comics and self-corrected.
Fine. And listen, we all have made mistakes or done things outside of how we would do things now. But I look at some of these, if someone posts a bit and you disagree, like for a comic to just be plain old offended by another comic's bit that they put online because they're looking to get in touch with more followers, more people, more ticket buyers. The idea that another comic comes in and goes, no, you go, fuck off. This is, it was set up punchline. Okay. Yeah. Respect that was put out. And you go, what is your thought process here?
Yeah.
Go text it to someone that you agree with already and have fun on your own saying no to the bit.
Yeah, that's you can totally do that. That's part of the fun.
Yeah, that's what
part
it's
of the
all
fun
about.
is shitting on another comic with your buddy.
Absolutely.
And we do it all the time, and we don't hate the person. But to do it publicly, I don't know. It's always I don't know. It's rubbed me wrong because you're gonna see the guy.
Yeah, and it's also
or girl, yeah,
guys just generally whatever in the royal sense. I don't know. I'm not in this world too. Like I do feel very outside of that world too because I'm not like, I'm doing stuff. I'm like talking about dating and The Bachelor. Like it's not like I'm like feeling like I'm at some sort of cool table where I can give out
We all feel like that.
I think that's true. Too.
Every fucking comic feels like an outsider. I consistently, like, I haven't been to the store because I've been on tour. I've been on tour aggressively, like, leave LA, live on the bus for a month, don't come home.
Do you love the bus?
I love it. I love it more than
you
anything.
love the bus.
I love it more than anything.
More than any. Do you want to get like an RV? Like, is that like something in your future? Like, would you like? Do you like road living, or is it just the bus?
I like that stand up is the focus of the reason of us being on this bus. That all we think about is comedy. All we talk about is comedy.
Talking bits.
That's all we're doing.
Talking shit about other people's bits that we're talking about.
Yeah. Breaking down bits, talking about what's going on, living in that world, and just being on the bus and having a singular focus of getting to the city, doing a show. You know, it's been, I have been very, very fortunate to been blessed with a couple really lucky opportunities in my life.
Yeah.
With, Netflix specials, namely, that's it. And then meeting, me and Tom, our podcast, I think, draws fans, but I've been lucky enough to do some arenas.
Yeah.
And when you do an arena, it's like
rock star.
You feel like Elvis. You really feel like Elvis.
Yeah.
The other day I walked off of a stage in at the fucking Bank Arena in whatever it was in North Little Rock, and I was hyper aware that, like, I mean, this is a really cool feeling.
Yeah.
Like, there's like everyone that works in the arena is backstage going, "Great job, Bert," and you're like, "Great," and I'm shirtless and I'm walking off and I'm like, have a cocktail, and I'm like, and you're walking off like a rock star.
Absolutely.
It really feels great.
And you're also an economy. Like, all those people are a great job, Bert, because they're like, yeah, we fucking did it. Like, we had a night here because you came, people came, we got to go to work. Everyone's winning in that scenario. It's like it is a great feeling. Like,
it was a great, I didn't realize the idea that as a comic you are an economy until I did the Hot Summer Nights tour, and I realized that me doing those shows created jobs.
People were itching to work, especially during that. You came out. What's the food situation on the bus? What are we getting? Like, what do you? I mean, have you talked about this? Look at the people.
No. We are.
Do we talk about this?
We are horrific.
Well,
first of all, Dave's been kind of off his game lately, but Dave normally would, during Hot Summer Nights, he would barbecue. Dave Williamson.
Okay.
He would barbecue every single day.
I saw you guys in DC. Is that where I saw you guys when they had you guys were doing the barbecue?
Yeah.
And he was like, he's going to town. Like, he
does briskets, steaks. He does salmon. His salmon's,
salmon
was the best. He does
like a wood plank.
No, he does a honey glazed salmon. Smokes it at like 225, and it is, the most tender thing I've ever had in my life, and it's the greatest salmon. It's the greatest salmon I've ever
you're
had.
Doing it outside. I mean, this is all outside.
All outside. All outside. So we have a smoker. We have a Rectech travel smoker, and he does everything on that. We also have a charcoal grill that we got for like $25. He'll do burgers and stuff on that.
Well, hold on. But you're going to these cities. The whatever the famous food place in Little Rock has to be sending you something.
No, not always, because we will get offers for that.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we go and we'll find a restaurant. Like, we were in San Francisco, and our tour bus driver was like, there's this great soul food restaurant we've got to go to. So we'll all go to that. We always over order. We always have leftovers. And then at the end of the night, we always do sneeze nice snackers, which are, we basically do a Frankenstein mashup of whatever leftovers we have.
So you're making like basically the Tom Turkey of whatever food. Like, the Tom Turkey is like the post-Thanksgiving sandwich that has the cranberry sauce. You're doing that version of it with whatever food you did earlier that day.
We'll take Crystal Burgers or White Castle Burgers and put an Indian tikka masala inside it. Just to, like,
so you guys are really just killing yourselves.
Oh, we are all gaining weight like crazy. Burgers were floating around pretty heavy this last trip, but we always do a sushi. We always do something. One of the guys on our tour, Peter, has not really experienced anything in life.
Yeah.
Or Steve Fury. Neither of them experienced everything. They're like,
they've never had like a sushi dinner. Like, they've never like went out.
I don't think they know what they like in sushi. Steve does, but like, Peter had never had Indian food. And we're like, well, then we're going to get a vindaloo. We'll get a tikka masala. We'll get some tandoori chicken, some tandoori shrimp. We're gonna get some naan. Like, so we load it up and we're like, try it.
But you're not even talking in between foods. Like, right? These are main event foods. Like,
Everything's a main event food.
There's no snacks on the bus.
Our snacks are our leftovers, and because we always have a pizza floating around. We always have barbecue. Like, there's always
the idea
a pizza.
of just a floating pizza.
This week it was 4. It was 4 floating pizzas that never even made it in the fridge. They just kind of sat outside the fridge, and at any point the top was open and someone was eating pizza. I mean, our food. And Andrew, my cousin, is on tour with us.
Yeah,
he's a vegan, so he's always.
Hobson's vegan.
Yeah.
What?
Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, he says he's vegan, but every now and then he'll be like, "Oh, this brisket's pretty amazing," and you're like, "Huh?" He's like, "No one can know about this."
It's just...
he's pretty good. He'll, like, the other day they got soul food. No, they got hush puppies. Oh, this was so good.
Dude, you're making... I'm going to shit my pants just from hearing about this.
Hush puppies, catfish, po' boys, shrimp, and then they got 20 Whoppers. And I just started putting fried oysters inside a Whopper and just was like, oh, this is the greatest. And then
a fried oyster.
Well, what I did is, so my big thing is
a McDonald's. It's not like a.
It's a Burger King Whopper.
Bigger. I'm sorry.
So what I do is I take the bottom bun off because there's nothing on the bottom buns are never. Yeah, you can lose the carbs. I taco it up, so I fold it up and I put oyster po' boys oysters from the inside.
So you're spreading oysters as if they're like caviar on top of,
and they delivered.
Well, I love a fried oyster.
Oh, I mean, we've gotten catfish a couple times. We've been going to a lot of soul food restaurants lately.
What brings you to soul food?
Ron's our bus driver.
I've met him before.
Yeah. And he's always like, this is the best chicken and waffle joint. This is the best. And they're always, I mean, we went to this one place in San Francisco.
I'm going there next month. I gotta go.
Okay.
I gotta go.
Hold on. Brenda's? Is it Brenda's? Hold on. What was the name of the restaurant in San Francisco we went to? It was.
What did you get? It was
Brenda's French soul food. So pull up. So the number one thing is the crawfish beignets. Crawfish beignets.
Oh my God.
In San Francisco. These crawfish beignets are the greatest. They're covered in like a cayenne dust.
Yeah, that looks like an Old Bay.
Oh, it's
type of thing.
Those were so fucking good. We each got one, and I got to be honest with you, one was a perfect little appetizer. They're the size of a softball.
How big? Oh,
they're big. They're like this. They're like this big. And then I'll tell you what else we got. The best thing they had on here is go to their popular dishes.
No, that crawfish beignet, you gotta get. Like, you ever ask when you ask? Do you ask the wait staff? Like when I go, I always ask the wait staff. I'm always questioning
because I can't read either. It's like my glasses and I'm dyslexic, so I always just go, "Hey, so what do you recommend?"
Well, when they don't, doesn't it bother you when they have no opinion? They go, "Everything's good." I go, "Well, then we're leaving." Like I like everything's good. It's annoying, and then we don't. Oh, I don't know. I hate that.
I'm a vegan, so I don't really eat here. Or the one I got in Hawaii one time that sent me through the roof is I can't afford the food here.
Oh,
and I went, what? And they were like, she goes, I can't afford the food here. And I was like, okay. I was like, hold on. They've never let you try things?
Yeah,
that was like number one when you were working a restaurant. They'd sit you down. Everyone would try the dish so you could recommend it to the people.
You're the salesperson.
Yeah, you're the salesperson. And I was like, well,
no, it's a lie. They're trying to make you feel that is in the lane of everyone needs to be a victim and everyone, they need to let you know, like, you better fucking tip because I'm literally, I can't eat food here. Like
I can't, I always, this was how I really started gaining weight. I would go in, I've convinced other people to do this, and it's really bad. So I go in.
It's worse than using a fried oyster as a condiment.
Sneeze Snackers is worse than what I'm about to tell you. It's called Kruskis. Kruskis is when one person gets the responsibility for ordering for everyone. Okay. So what that one person does is sits down, they order all the appetizers, and then they order all the meals, and all the meals are then cut in half or portioned out So and everyone gets small plates. So we're eating family style.
Yes.
That's called Kruskis. And so
how did it come to Kruskis?
because if you're in a crew, like so it's like Kruskis.
I got
like, I don't know.
I don't know. I used to call the third. You go with a friend to like a sub place, and you get a sandwich, I get a sandwich, then we get a third sandwich to split. The friendwich.
That's Kruskis.
Yeah, that's Kruskis.
Yeah. So that's when I really started gaining weight is when I started doing Kruskis with my family. But
it's when you find a like-minded eater that you are now like shit's gone off the rails. That's why couples gain weight together.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing you need. Someone has to go, this is ridiculous. A judgmental eye needs to come in.
John Mans is our cameraman, and he will always go split skis with you. So Kruskis when you do it for everyone.
It's a dangerous friend.
Split skis is when you go, let's go split skis, and you order 3 meals, and it's the 3 meals you want, but you couldn't really put your hand on. So you'll do a salad, like one salad that looks healthy, that was like that. I bet that was good.
Yeah.
Like what did we do split skis on the other day? And I was like,
so this is more the friendwich, the split skis.
Split skis is me and Peter did split skis at a bar in San Francisco. Great fucking little dive bar in San Francisco. And we did. You
gotta tell me what these places are because I'm going and I want to.
We did a kimchi burger.
Love it.
We did a Nashville hot chicken sandwich and a BLT. Because I go.
Those are 3 different restaurants.
Yeah, I know.
Those are 3 cultures that didn't meet until America was founded.
Yes,
that is the melting pot of orders. A BLT, a kimchi burger. Like those are 2 different cultures in one burger. And then what was the hot chicken? You brought Tennessee.
Yeah.
Korea.
And then the other one was a BLT. And then so so Peter started with the kimchi burger because he thought that would be good.
Yeah.
And by the way, I also when I go in, I go, what are your 5 best appetizers? And then they go, well, this and this. And this place is like, our jalapeno poppers are pretty fucking good. I go 2 orders of those. And so then
you ever see when you go, give me your 5 best, and you can just see the twinkle in their eye. You know which one.
Well,
I know right away how excited they are about the meal that they're offering. And I can see it. This is like my 6th sense is knowing when a waiter's like, you gotta get this is the thing, and I just go, you've nailed it. I trust you. Take me, Sherpa.
We fucked. I ended up eating half of the BLT, and it was so good that I almost lied to Peter and told him it was shit to stick with the burger. It was such a good BLT. But
fucking throw him under the bus.
Like, man, I wouldn't have this if I were you. It's pretty fucking
I don't
garbage.
know about this BLT.
But what was I about to say? Oh fuck.
No, the top 5. They had the hush or the 5 appetizers. I interrupted you.
No, I get. This can backfire really bad. Okay, this can backfire really bad. So a lot of times when if ever there's a chef that like a legit chef, we did this in.
So you probably get this a lot. Chef comes out. Thank you for coming.
Fleetwood's in Maui. Fleetwood's in Maui. I go with my wife and her friend, our best friends. We go to Fleetwood's. This story is almost unbelievable if Leanne wasn't here to back it up. Okay. So
this is a family vacation.
It's family vacation. We both bring our families down to Maui. We're staying in a hotel on the. It's really nice hotel. Not even actually a really nice. I don't even know where it was, to be honest with you. But it was an okay hotel. I don't really have much of a recollection of it.
Yeah.
But we were right on the water, so we could go swimming in the water. It was great paddle boarding, and there was a grill. We could grill out for ourselves. And then one night they're like, let's go out to eat. And they're like, let's go to Fleetwood's. So it's Fleetwood Mac, the guy who Mick Fleetwood, I think is his name. It's his restaurant.
Okay.
So my buddy Tom is his name. He's not the same Tom. He says, Bert, call ahead and see if you can get a table. And he's like, see if you can swing your celebrity and get a table. This was, I can tell you exactly how long ago it was, because I was definitely not famous. Not that I'm super famous or anything, but I definitely was not fucking famous. I'd been on podcasts. You know, we were all doing podcasts at the time. I had a podcast. I was on Travel Channel, but
you had someone you could call to try and help this out. No,
nope. I had no one I could call.
So you called the restaurant saying, "Hi, I'm Bert Kreischer."
So
from Travel Channel.
I said, "Hey,"
from What was the show? That's just a funny way to call a restaurant.
I said, where the fuck's Maui? Is it north of Honolulu? To the right?
See, I have no Hawaii knowledge.
There's
when
Kauai.
you live on the East Coast.
There's Honolulu. Is it right of Honolulu?
I can't believe Fleetwood Mac has a restaurant that's of such renown.
Oh, here's Maui. Okay. So you ready? So this was, I can tell you exactly what it was.
4.5 stars.
It's the number one restaurant. This was 2015.
Okay.
So
this is, 7 years ago.
So you can get it. I call up and I say, hey, do you have a reservation for 4? And they're like, we can't seat you on the deck, but we can seat you in the restaurant.
Okay.
And I tell that to my friend Sandy, and she goes, no, we want to be on the deck. We want to be on the deck so we watch the sunset. It's
this friend.
Yeah. Oh,
this friend
Tom
is really some balls.
Tom and Sandy are, I don't know the right way to say it without sounding horrible, but they are big foodies. And Sandy was on a slow boat from Vietnam. She's like first generation Chinese Vietnamese. Okay. So there's a pushiness you'll see with Sandy of like, I'm going to get what I want. Like she grew up in Boston in the fucking 80s. Like this woman has fought for everywhere she's gotten, but she's had to push her way through some doors.
Listen, all you had to say was Boston in the 80s, just ball busting her way through life. And the idea that they're like, can you throw around that celebrity? And then you're like, hey, we're good inside. No.
Yeah.
Like the idea.
So Sandy goes, no, we want to sit on the deck. And then she goes, her English is broken. She would never say that she has broken English. Hardcore. If you talk to her, you'd be like, Tom, Halston, you listen to Sandy. Does she have speaking perfect English?
No.
Okay. No. So Sandy goes, tell them who you are on the phone. And I, as a joke, I go, do you guys have special seating for celebrities? And they're like, as a joke. And the lady goes, who's the celebrity? And I go, Bert Kreischer. And she goes, he is from, I said, the Bertcast. She goes, the Bertcast. She goes, hold on. And then she comes back. She goes, no, we definitely don't have special seating for celebrities, sir. It's this. She's like, very kindly, this is owned by Mick Fleetwood. So we get a lot of these requests. And I went, okay. I said, it's not a problem.
She's like, is this Bert's assistant?
Yeah.
You're like, no, this is actually Bert from the Bertcast. Lucky you.
Yeah, no, this is, you got it. It's Bert from Bertcast.
You're talking to the celebrity.
You're talking to the celebrity. So she goes, I'm trying to send this picture to Halston so he can see it. So she's like, all right, I can seat you at sunset inside. Maybe, if there's room, you can go up and have a drink on the deck and see the sunset, but you're going to eat inside. And I went, okay, fine. Yeah. So
we have a celebrity standing area for lesser known people to watch the sunset.
I was appalled. I'm like, I felt embarrassed, but I was like, I don't give a shit about that stuff. I've always done bus balls and see if I can get,
of course,
it's a lightheartedness. It's not a seriousness.
No, seriousness would be you going, don't you know who I am?
Yeah.
It's the follow-up. It's, right. I'm going to take a shot.
Yeah, I'm going to take my shot.
Yeah, of course, we're all taking shots.
We get there, and she goes, and the lady's like, can I get your name? And I said, yeah, it's under celebrity. And she goes, what? And I said, I think they might have put us under celebrity Bert Kreischer from the Bertcast. And we all laugh, and she goes, oh, okay, hold on 1 second. And she goes, all right, follow me. And she takes us up to the top.
Come on.
And she sits us at Mick Fleetwood's table. His table is on the far right corner. It's his table. It's saved. It's never seat. They never sit anyone at it just in case Mick wants to come by or family or one of his friends. So they keep it open. They go, we got you at Mick Fleetwood's table. We sit down and I am shaking. I'm like, I'm really uncomfortable with this. I go, I was just fucking around. We need to tell them that I'm not famous and go back inside.
What if Fleetwood comes?
So,
it's like it's almost like you figured out by accident the code to the phone.
Yeah.
It's like you've just touched the phone and somehow got
or you
the
spun the lock on the safe and it opened and you're like oh shit, I just see $1,000 million.
Yes, exactly. I took a shot and oh my God, how'd we end up here? So
I'm like, all right, we got to tell them that this is a joke, that we were just joking. And And Sandy's like, no, don't say anything. We're sitting at the good table. And I'm like, Sandy, I'm uncomfortable with this.
Sandy doesn't give a shit.
Doesn't give a shit.
Shut the fuck up.
And they come out and they go, these are a first round of shots, compliment of the chef. And I'm like, I got to find out. I'm like, this is really uncomfortable.
Oh my God.
They send out a first round of shots, and the waiter comes out and he goes, so the chef was wondering if you'd be interested in doing a tasting menu tonight that he has handcrafted for you. And I went, hold on. I go, listen, man. I go, can I talk to the manager or someone? And he goes, yeah, sure. So the manager comes up and he's like, how you doing? Can I help you? And I said, listen, man, my name's Bert. I'm nobody. And I called.
Listen to me, man. I did a couple things on Travel Channel. This can't be for real.
He goes, excuse me? I said, I'm nobody. And I was just joking about getting this table and I feel bad. And he goes, oh, I know you're nobody.
Come on.
I go, what? And he goes, the difficult part was me trying to sell you to Mick Fleetwood. And I go, what? And he goes, dude, huge fucking fan.
No way.
I listened to your podcast. I listened to the Rogan. I listened to you on, and he goes, we've been watching you on Travel Channel. And he goes, you called and we were standing by the front thing. And she was like, Bertcast. And he was like, no fucking way. So we got you Mick's table, but we had to call Mick Fleetwood and sell him on you. So we called Mick Fleetwood. He goes, you would, and then the chef comes out and he's like, dude, we're all fucking huge fans. And I was like, shut the fuck up. And he's like, we were on the phone with Mick Fleetwood going like, no, this guy's like a huge comedian. And he's like, what's his name? And he's like, Bert Kreischer. He's the machine. He got involved with the Russian mafia. And he goes, Mick Fleetwood. It took us like fucking 30 minutes to convince Mick Fleetwood to give him your table. I was like, shut the fuck up. So the chef gave us a full tasting menu, top to bottom.
Come on.
Everything. We drank the most expensive booze you could ever fucking drink. They brought out shots with gunpowder in it. They brought out Louis the 13th.
What's your friend saying now? Sandy, what's it?
This is a picture of me and Leanne. This is the sunset. This is a picture of me and Leanne
you got
on the
sunset.
top, on the top of Mick Fleetwood's at his table in the corner. It was the greatest. Fuck, they come out and do the, I think they do like the haka, but with bagpipes. Like, it's
my God.
Fucking greatest.
This is such an example of like what celebrity is now.
Yeah.
Like the idea that like someone in that restaurant was like, I'm the biggest fucking Bert Kreischer fan. And it's like, and then another person in the restaurant was like, who the fuck is Bert Kreischer? Like, that's the way things work nowadays. So we're all in our like little like entertainment silos. There's no Mick Fleetwood anymore.
No, it was
like it's like Kardashian or niche.
This is Tom and Sandy. I just sent it to you, Halston. But we had the greatest dinner I've ever had in my life. The chef and the general manager, they comped the entire fucking meal.
Unreal.
And I mean, I think we paid for booze maybe and tipped like $400 fucking dollars.
Unreal.
I can't remember because it is one of the drunkest I've ever been in my life.
That's like, saying something.
And that is saying something.
Yeah.
But it was there's Tom and Sandy. And
wow.
And we watched the sunset and had the greatest meal we've ever fucking had. And it was all because Sandy's like, just go get it attitude. Is like, tell him you're famous. And you're like,
just say it.
And you're like, I was like, I'm uncomfortable with that. But you do it as a joke and you throw it. And then it fucking worked. Now,
half joke, half, let's see what happens.
Flip side of have the chef order for us, the bad story, we're in Austin and we go to a sushi restaurant and we sit down and I'm already drunk. I've been at this spa all day.
Yeah.
I've been smoking weed all day. I've been drinking vodka and sodas all fucking day. I did 2 Bears, 1 Cave, got hammered there. I mean, I've been drinking and smoking weed all fucking day.
Yeah.
And we get to the sushi restaurant and I was like, and she goes, what can I get you guys to order? And it's our whole crew. I said, I'll tell you what, just start bringing out great stuff and we'll tell you when we're done. And she was like, all right. I don't know what our bill was because no one would tell me, but I'm guessing it was in the like $2,000 range.
Okay. How many people?
Probably 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And we drank like fucking fish. And I got so drunk then that on the ride home, I thought we were in San Diego. And they were like, we're in Austin, Bert. And I was like, I'm pretty sure we're in San Diego, guys.
Stop for burritos.
But like, it's backfired a number of times on me where I think where you go, like it happened with Ralphie. When Ralphie and I went and got sushi one time at Nobu in the Bahamas. I went to pay the bill and it was like fucking $2,400. And I was like, what the fuck?
What just happened?
Yeah. And Ralphie's like, oh, player, I wouldn't do that if I were you, Bert Kreischer. Hell, Bert, I would give me the bill, player. And so but I paid it. And then Leanne's like, how much was it? And I looked at Leanne at the table. I go, shut the fuck up. That's how much it was. And she was like, don't you talk to me like that. I was like, don't fucking start a fight with me. And she was like, you're starting a fight with me. And Ralphie was like, oh shit. And they're off. God damn it. This message is sponsored by BetterHelp. I talk a lot about BetterHelp on this show. And now they're releasing a new podcast called Getting Better, Stories of Mental Health. I wonder if I'm going to be on that. I could be on it. I'd be really good. Go check it out. Season 1 just dropped with episodes featuring interviews with notable people like NBA Hall of Famer Chris Bosh, talking about anxiety, pop star Meghan Trainor. I love Meghan Trainor. Talks about motherhood and panic attacks. Wilmer Valderrama on immigrating to a new country and more. Mental health is something we should all be focusing on just as much as we focus on our physical health. So join BetterHelp as they continue to fight to destigmatize mental health and show people that everyone struggles with something, so we need to talk about it. You can do your part to help by listening and sharing your favorite episode and spreading the word that it's okay to not be okay. Find this awesome new mental health podcast, Getting Better, Stories of Mental Health, wherever you get your podcasts. This podcast is brought to you by Masterclass. Masterclass is a fantastic app where you can learn from the world's best minds anytime, anywhere, at your own pace. First of all, this is going to sound crazy, but I'm amazed by people that can put on amazing performances. Christina Aguilera has a whole thing, not about singing, but about putting on amazing performances, which is fascinating to me. A lot of these experts are talking about different aspects of how they succeed. The other one I watched was Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay talked about how to prepare your kitchen to cook, how to get yourself ready to cook. He didn't tell you how to cook an egg. He told you how to get ready. It is fucking fascinating. They have literally hundreds of classes from a range of world-class instructors. That thing you've always wanted to do is closer than you think. I highly recommend it. Go check it out for yourself. Get unlimited access to every masterclass. And as a Bertcast listener, you get 15% off an annual membership. Go to masterclass.com/Bertcast right now. That's masterclass.com/Bertcast for 15% off Masterclass. Trust me, you will fucking love it. Here's the app right here. Check it out. It's fucking awesome. Yeah,
So, sometimes I guess like they can take advantage. They go, yeah, we got a live one here.
Yeah, I think so. And
it's
their right to. It's their right to. It's their right to.
Yeah, if you say that.
If I say that, they can. And I want them to. I'm not going to do it if I'm broke. I'm not going to do it if I'm broke.
No. It's a different attitude. I mean, you're there for the whole thing. And until I say uncle, it's like.
I'm a very cheap person.
Are you?
People would not know that about me. But I'm very cheap in that I don't like to spend money, it's not my natural instinct.
Some people are just cheap about certain things. Like what is something like I think there's cheap people, but then I think everyone has that thing that they're cheap about. Like some people are like, I don't care if I sleep in a Motel 6, hotels don't matter to me. I think there's different things for different people where they're like, I cannot spend money on that. Do you have that? Or is it just across the board? You're just like, I don't want to spend money.
No, I don't have a problem. Here's the thing. I don't have a problem spending money. I have a problem spending money on myself. Like, I don't have a problem spending money on other people. Like, we went to Vegas, I think, one time, and the keys got mixed up, and the suite went to one of the opening comics. And they were like, God damn it, our rooms are nice. And everyone was like, our rooms aren't that nice. He was like, I think I got your room, Bert. And I was like, well, keep it. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like I'll stay in rooms like that again a lot.
Sure.
This is you're one for the year, you probably. So enjoy it.
Have fun.
Yeah, have fun. Really enjoy it. You'll enjoy it way more than I'll enjoy it. That's where I am with I would never get the nice room at a hotel because I don't care enough about it.
How about your kids?
I spend money on them. I don't have a problem spending money on them.
Do they have like credit card connected
no.
to you?
My kids are very, very cognizant of the hierarchy of rich kids in LA, and they don't want to be that.
So they know rich kids who act crazy.
Yes, and they do not wear any. They wear clothes from thrift stores.
Yeah,
and
that's kind of the look now, though. I mean, that's the LA. Like the LA, I met the hip people in LA. They all look like they like took all their dad's clothes that they used to clean the garage. Like that's like the look now, I guess.
I don't get it. I like new clothes.
I do too. I don't know. I went to like a house party and it looked like a Noah Baumbach costume party. Like I was like, does everyone? I know everyone here thinks they're interesting, but like you're all dressed the same.
No, I don't. The girls would not have nice cars. Like Georgia has a nice car, but she only has a nice car because I wasn't going to drive. I wasn't going to have one car be the last one out and me just jumping some. What she wanted was a beater. She goes, I want a beater. And I go, you're not getting a beater because.
How old is she?
17 now.
Oh, so she's like, this is first car.
I want a beater. I don't want to look like a rich kid, Dad. And I was like, don't worry. You're not a rich kid. Pump your fucking brakes. Second of all, I'm not getting you a beater because I want to make sure you get from point A to point B.
Well, it's
Isla is like hardcore wants a Kia Soul. And I go, I'm not getting you a Kia Soul because I'm going to have to drive it.
Yeah.
And I'm not driving a fucking Kia Soul because I'm not some fucking chick in Colorado throwing mountain bikes and my rescue dog in the back. I go.
No, and well, then there's also like, it's a sliding scale. The richest kids have the beater too.
Yeah.
You can go too not nice where it's a show.
Yeah.
And then you go too nice. It's both ends of the spectrum.
We got, I wanted to give Georgia, I had a car that was like, my lease was a BMW 5 Series. It was fucking one of the greatest cars I've ever owned, by the way. To this day, it's like one of my favorite cars. I've never enjoyed a car more than that car. I really loved that car. And we got done the lease, and they were like, "Hey, you owe 32 on it or something, maybe. I forget what it was. 32, 25. You owe 25 on it."
I have no relation to this stuff.
I couldn't even tell you.
I had a car. It's like when people say areas in Brooklyn, I just go, yeah, totally. Like I have no idea. Like so when you get car done, stuff, I just don't know.
When you get done your lease, all the money you've leased it for, then that is kind of what
you'll build a kitty, and you owe a little bit more to like have it outright.
They offer you for you to buy it outright usually, and so whatever the left that you haven't paid in the lease, that's what you owe on it, and if you want to give them that, they'll give you the car.
Yeah,
and so it was a reasonable price for a fucking car that never got driven and was still fairly fucking new.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna give you the BMW. She's like, I'm not driving that. And I was like, it's a great fucking car.
Yeah.
She goes, yeah, Dad, I'm not driving a 5 Series to school because I will look like a fucking rich kid. And I was like, hold on. This is fortunate that I can get a good deal on this car. So you're not going to be a rich kid if I get you this car. You're going to be a kid that gets the car they get and shut your fucking mouth.
And their dad's old car.
Yeah, it's my
this isn't the Lexus commercial with the big bow on the outside, and you're not posting on social media being like, "Daddy!" Like there's context.
I ended up spending more money to buy her a car so she wouldn't look like a rich kid. And then had to fucking give this fucking 5 Series back.
The most rich kid move of them all.
Yeah. Is
to say no to a deal.
Yeah. And you're like, and she's like, this car doesn't look like a rich kid. I go, it's more expensive than the one that I could have gotten you. But whatever. They're girls.
Here's what we'll do. We'll give you the receipt. You can carry it around. Show the kids at school. Well, this is how much it costs.
Yeah.
Compared to the other thing I would have gotten.
I can put a sticker on it. I can put a sticker price on it. You can drive into that the first week. No, they're girls, and so I want them to be in a safe car in LA.
Of course.
I want them to be in the safest car, and so that was the 5 Series was such a great fucking car.
Remember Leanne got a free Louis Vuitton bag in a raffle, and she won't wear it because it makes her look rich, and she won't do it.
What it is Leanne's family is from.
I like how you whispered on a podcast.
Because I figure
just so they don't hear.
Her dad's hard of hearing, so he definitely won't hear this part.
Yeah.
Baba J can't hear shit.
Yeah.
but they're from honest means.
Okay.
They work hard for their money.
Sure.
I don't think they've ever not sweat a day in their life to earn their money. So they're not, and so they're
money. People are fucked up about money. Like that's, and I say this not as nicely. Like,
what was your family like with money?
My family, my parents both grew up with money. Like
Really?
families, were doing okay. Family businesses type of thing. But no one acted like my grandmother acted like acted like crazy about stuff, like clip every coupon.
Really?
Oh yeah. So like there was always this thought of like,
well, she lived through the Great Depression.
I don't even know if that's it. My grandmother used to sneak alcohol into clubs. Like she would bring nips with her everywhere.
Really?
Pour her own drink.
That's what they're called, is nips.
Nips. Yeah.
That's
airplane.
so funny. Lick nips.
I call them nips.
They call them lick nips on jets. When you take a private jet, they go, would you like some lick nips?
Oh, I didn't know that was the full name.
Liquor nips.
Yeah, liquor nips and nips.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have nips in our house. My dad was in the liquor business.
Really?
He's wholesale liquor, beer, and wine.
Really?
So in my garage, we had like buckets of nips. Just take a handful and go, and like all like all the drinks that like you couldn't sell.
Yeah.
Like all the testers would be there'll be like chocolate vodka bottles in my garage.
Oh wow.
And that type of shit, and you bring it to like a high school party. Like, this is what I got. Like
that's fucking interesting. My parents never had alcohol in the house. They just weren't drinkers. And when they did, like for my dad's probably 40th birthday, maybe like they had a big party one time and they had liquor, and I remember being like, I've never been around liquor, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking steal a bottle for high school,
take everything. Yeah.
And I ended up taking a bottle. It's so funny. I look back at my transgressions as a youth and I go, yeah, it was fun. It was honest. I was a good kid. And then anything Georgia or Isla does, I fucking lose my shit.
Really?
I'll tell you,
understanding.
If you're a parent listening, the number one mistake I made, was the first time someone fucked up in my house with like drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. Like it was weed, but the first time someone fucked up, I lost my shit. I wish I could take that back so much.
Why do you wish to take it back?
Because it set precedent for people not wanting me to lose my shit. So then
they'd sneak around.
Then it was lying. And you're like, and so I had to, this is going to sound crazy, but I had to work my way back into them trusting that I would be even keeled when they did something bad, so that they would, because what happens is,
isn't there an in-between though?
There is, but the way I behaved was not on the in-between.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I'm saying that, like, you don't want to be that parent that's like, if it's in my house, I don't care. And then you're like, you have other
I don't want to be that.
regrets.
I'm not going to be that parent.
There's a weird.
But here's the parent you want to be, and I think we're getting close there. Is you want to be the parent whose kid drinks and then says, "Hey, I've been drinking and I'm in my car, and I can't drive, and I need you to come pick me up.
I'll deal with the consequences."
I was planning on spending the night. We busted George recently, and Liam was like, "You need to drive home." She's like, "I can't," and we're like, she was like, "I wasn't going to drive." And so then you have to celebrate her.
You've done good and bad.
Because you've done good, because you don't want a kid drinking and driving, and that's all I give a fuck about. All I give a fuck about is like, will you be home in the morning for me to give a hug to? That's it.
Oh, are you going to risk your life to lie to me? And that's a bad thing.
And it's all based off the way I react. Sure. That's the thing, is that she messed up a couple times on other things, nothing really bad, and I reacted good, and it caught her off guard. And so I think we've gotten to a place now where she goes, I trust he's not going to overreact and lose his shit, and I'm going to have to deal with that. So I'll be honest. Right now, we had a conversation. I said, we need to work from a place of honesty across the board. Look, she's going to college next year. I go, I know you're going to fuck up. I know you're going to make mistakes. I just want to make sure you're safe. So realize I'm on your team. And I mean, it's like,
it's so weird that you're still, it's not weird, but it's like, it's weird that there's an age where you're like, I'm still teaching here.
Yeah. It's like, you're not allowed to drink alcohol. That's the truth. You're not allowed to smoke weed. That's the truth. having said that, I just told you a story when I was 14. I stole a bottle from my parents.
Sure.
So like, I know what's going to happen. And I know that you're my daughter. I know you're probably going to do the same mistakes I did.
What are they drinking?
I don't fucking.
What do you catch them with? Like, what is the go-to? Is it like a White Claw? Like,
I've never caught him with anything. It's Leanne. I've always been out of town when it happened. Every time it's ever happened, I'm out of town.
So you get the report, but it's probably a cleaned up report for you.
Well, yeah, kind of.
You can't be getting the full,
no.
Daughters and moms, like there's got to be some sort of, especially if you freaked out the first time, they're like, okay, how are we going to present this?
I think there is a presentation to it for sure because of the way I behaved the first time. And the way I behaved first time it was my hurtness of losing, of allowing a base hit in a perfect game. I was throwing a perfect game as a dad, right? They hadn't fucked up, no booze, no nothing. And it's me fucking stomping off the mound, throwing my glove down, and being more mad that I threw a base hit.
A one hitter.
Yeah.
You're upset with a one hitter.
Yeah. And then Leanne's perspective was, let's just make sure we win the game.
Yeah.
Like we have a good lead. Let's just make sure we win the game.
You want them hanging out with you when they're older. Yeah. You know, you don't want them hating you for the structure of the house, but you also want them to be good people that you want to hang out with.
Yeah.
You know, like there's that center. Like I love hanging with my family. Like we all get along so well in a crazy, weird Costanza level way. Like,
and what is it? Is it you and your parents and a brother?
My younger brother.
Yeah.
And we get together so well that like, I think my brother and I are just like very weird about bringing in relationships.
Yeah.
Like as far as like, we got a good thing going on. It's fun to drink. It's fun to go out and eat. We kind of know how to talk shit about people in this family. Like, you know, like the idea of bringing someone in is a difficult thing.
That was Leanne was a hard one to break the seal.
Yeah.
Oh, they called her the Pit Viper. My sisters.
Pit Viper.
I mean, at one point, I think me and my sisters called ourselves Big Team.
So you were close with everybody.
Oh, me and my sisters and my parents were so abnormally close. I mean, to this day, I mean, we're very, very, very close. And like I talk to my dad every day. I talk to my mom every day.
Yeah,
I talk to both my sisters every day. Today I drove by. Today I was going to get Leanne something to eat, and I just drove by my sister's house to just step in and say hi. And
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
And it's almost. We used to go on vacation as a family, like, and my brother and I would be 28 and 24, and we'd be like just the same four here. Yeah. You know, like, and then and it's like no girlfriends, no nothing. And you'd see as a family, they're growing, you know, they're starting to get like, oh, they're engaged. And we're like, yeah, we're just a fucking bunch of adults hanging out.
It's so great. I mean, I remember when I started dating Leanne and we were getting pretty serious, I quit drinking. Because I got into a fight with Leanne and I couldn't let go of the fight. The next day I was still bothered by the fight. And then she broke up with me and I wanted to drink. And I thought if I drink, I won't deal with the feelings I'm feeling. I need to feel these feelings to find out if this is the right chick. And so I quit drinking. And I remember going home and we went out to the back. Leanne wasn't with me. We went out to the back porch where we'd always go to this back porch at my dad's house. My sisters are there. My grandmother's there. And my dad says, hey, who wants a glass of wine? I said, I'm good. And he goes, wait, what? I said, I'm good. And he goes, oh, come on. And then I was like, no, I'm not drinking. And he goes, what, not drinking tonight? I said, well, I haven't been drinking for like the past 4 months. And it was like I said, I've been performing abortions. I mean, everyone went, wait, what?
Music.
And I was like, yeah, I was like, I quit drinking. And Cotty was like, forever? And I said, I don't know. She goes, well, you can't be forever. Wait, is it? They were like, is this about this fucking chick? And I was like,
I love how much of a shock this is to everyone. You're like, you have to have a moment where you're like, they'll understand. And then they don't. You're seeing in their eyes how much you drink to them.
Oh, they were, well, it's how we bond as a family. Sure. We open a bottle of wine and we all sit around and we eat cheese and eat crackers and talk and catch up and bust balls. And they were so bothered that I quit drinking.
Was it because they were like, you're changing for this person?
They're like, you cannot, do not change for her. If she doesn't love you for who you are, and who you are is someone who's going to have a glass of wine with us at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, buddy, I want you to be happy, but don't be someone you're not. Like, in this family, we drink wine together. And I remember going like, and Cotty was like, hold on. I just started to be able to drink with you. Like, I can just... What the fuck is going on?
I've been looking forward to this.
Cotty's like, I'm moving to LA. Annie was living in LA. Or no, Annie was no, I'm sorry. Cotty and Annie were talking about moving to LA after Cotty graduated. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. And so then I went to Italy with Leanne that next weekend. Leanne and I went to Italy, and I didn't tell any of this to Leanne. I didn't tell a word of it. Didn't drink on the flight there. Had horrific panic attacks on the flight there. Didn't drink at all on the flight there. Land, have a few nights of like fun, and then we were in Venice, and we're at a restaurant, and it's the day after New Year's Eve. I want to say it's snowing. It starts snowing as we step into the restaurant, and it starts dumping. So it's all brand new snow in Venice. It's no one's out because it's after the holidays. And they send a bottle of wine to the table. They just put it on the table. And I went, God damn it. And Leanne goes, what? And I was like, I want a drink. I said, I want to have a drink. This is fucking beautiful. This is everything. I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm with the woman I love. And it's snowing. We're in Venice. I want to have a glass of wine. And Leanne goes, just so you know, I don't give a fuck if you drink or not. I don't know why you quit drinking. And I was like, what? She was like, I mean, I hope you didn't do it for me, because I really don't give a fuck. I don't think you're an alcoholic. I don't think you have a drinking problem.
Yeah.
She goes, I think you're a big drinker, but so drink if you want. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I poured a glass of wine, and it went down like fucking dreams. I mean, it was like, and all of a sudden that first buzz kicks in, and you're like, oh, I'm fucking alive, baby. I'm in love. I'm in Venice. It's snowing. And me and her went from bar to, had dinner, and went from bar to bar, and ended up in St. Mark's Square, snowing, making out. And it was like
a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And I was like, I woke up the next day, and I was like, cocktails. Who's up for a cocktail?
You go to an AA meeting, you're like, hey, I just want to tell everyone a positive story.
Yeah. but they had a hard time accepting Leanne. Like, I know what it's like with you and your brother, because you're like, hey man, everything works right now. We all know each other and we love each other. And if we had, like, it was tough.
So I mean, what was did you ever have a sit down with everybody? Was there ever like this is happening?
I couldn't go into detail. People would start to dislike my family, because it got bad. I mean,
it's funny you said no.
What happened is my dad and my sisters and my mom became very close, and me and Leanne kind of got pushed out. You were on an
island.
We were on an island, and
that's how it happens.
It wasn't until, I would argue, very recently. Now, and I stayed close with my sisters. Mm-hmm. I stayed close with my parents, but you could tell they were the team. They would do like dinners and trips or whatever, and they'd be like, if you want to, it was not really an invite, like not a solid. I'm going to tell you a story. That they will all protest. Okay,
the family back home,
my other family, my mom and my dad, and my sisters and my mom would all protest. Okay. This was the worst. Now, you got to understand, we had Georgia and Isla, and we would say stuff like, we need to, my dad would be out here, my sisters lived out here, and they're like, let's go to dinner tonight. We're like, great. My dad's like, I got a reservation for 9. And Leanne would be like, well, the girls go to bed at 7. And so can we go earlier? And they're like, well, no one wants to eat at like fucking 5:30. So like, and I remember being like torn. So I was like, I want to go to dinner with them, because I love dinner with them.
Sure.
But I have this family. And Leanne would be like, just go with your family. And Leanne says that, and she actually means it. Okay. Like, just go with your family. I don't give a fuck. I'll put the girls to bed. The girls need to go to bed on time. It got so bad.
They're doing it on purpose?
No, I think they just were like,
our team does this. This is how we have fun. We don't need.
Me and my sisters never had bedtimes. We never had curfews. Mm-hmm. We had never had any of that shit. I stayed up every night until midnight, my whole life.
So this is not them excluding. It's just, this is the party. You're either there or you're not.
Yeah, and they'd be like, "Fine, we'll go with 6. Can you give us like an extra 30 minutes of keeping the girls awake?" And Leanne would be like, "Yeah, fine." And it was a bone of contention between us. And Leanne had a cat. My parents would come down. Everyone would have an allergy attack at my house. So we always had to go to my sister's house. And it was apartments at the time. And so it got bad. And the worst it got, was, and by the way, I'm aware that if my sisters and my dad and my mom hear this, they will all say, this is not how this happened.
Okay, but this
is how this happened.
3 sides to every story.
Well, there's one side of this fucking story, and it's the truth. So we go. I have a movie premiering in Aspen at the comedy festival. So I decide I'm going to Aspen, and my sisters say, "Why don't we come and we'll help with the girls?" Because Leanne wants to see it, and they go, "We'll come. We'll help with the girls." My dad says, "Well, if you guys are all going to go to Aspen, Mom and I will come out. Why don't we get a big house? We'll all stay in Aspen, and we'll all go to Bert's premiere, and we'll all hang out." And we're like, "Great, that's fucking awesome." We get out there, and I get sick. I get a flu, and like throw up flu, like bad. Probably the worst I've ever had. I think I shit on a wall. I don't know where. Like, it was bad. Lay in bed
One of those wall shitting flus.
It was fucking bad. And I ended up in bed. I remember I shit on the wall. I had Leanne come in. I run into this house that we rented. I go to the bathroom. I take a shit, and it smells so bad I immediately start throwing up. And I start throwing up in the tub, and I'm shitting on the wall. And I'm just like, I'm not going to look at any of this because I'll start throwing up more. Yeah. So I just get in the shower. I rinse off. I then get in the bed, and I go, "Leanne," and she goes, "Yes." She comes in, and I go, "Baby, I need you to take care of something. I just shit on the wall in the bathroom." And she goes, "Okay, let me get your mother." And then my mom came in, and my mom's like, "What's the matter, Bebopper?" And I said, "I shit on the wall." And she goes, "I'll take care of it." And then my mom went in, and she was like, "I don't see it." And I was like, "Okay, whatever. I'm not going to fucking argue. It's fine. There's shit on someone's wall." So I get sick. The next day at the premiere, Georgia gets sick. She gets the virus.
She's shitting on walls.
She throws up on me at the premiere of the movie, and I have to watch the movie in like a wife beater or because she throws up on my shirt. Isla gets sick. Georgia and I are all sick roughly within 3 days. And then we all go back one night, and Leanne gets sick. Now I'm getting over it. Georgia and Isla are still arguably sick. They're maybe first day out of it. The night Leanne gets sick, my dad goes room to room and wakes up my sisters and my mom, and he goes, "We're on a plane first thing in the morning." And he was like, and my mom's like, "Well, I think they're going to need our help. I mean, Bert has stuff to do, and he's got 2 girls, and Leanne's sick." He's like, "I don't give a fuck. We're not getting sick." So he gets on the phone. He books flights for my sisters and my mom and him to leave at 5 a.m. They leave in the middle of the night. They do
an escape plan.
They do not tell a fucking soul. And they get to the airport. I wake up that morning, and I go, "Hey, is anyone here?" Because I'm like tired. The girls are sick. Leanne's in bed. Anyone? I call my mom, and she's crying on the phone. And she goes, "Your father made me do it."
Oh, my God.
And my dad gets on the phone. He goes, "Buddy, we can't afford to get sick. We are out. Good luck with your family. You know, this is what you do as dad. You got to take care of your family, and I'm taking care of mine. So good luck."
Take care of mine. Everyone's an adult.
And he just hangs up. No shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, that was the modus operandi of my family. It was almost like I had a family and my dad had a family.
Yeah.
And our families could hang out, but if they started bumping, you could. And it wasn't until my sister Cotty started having babies that all of a sudden everything changed. Everything started to.
It was the whole crew.
It was that. Then all of a sudden she'd be like, "I can't do dinner at 7." And my dad's like, "Buddy, you got to understand. They got to get these kids down early." And I was like, "No, I'm fucking well aware of that, Dad. I'm well aware of that."
Yeah.
We had a house. Our old house. You went to my old house, right? So my old house, never did we all hang out there. Never. We always hung out at my sister's house. They had an apartment.
Yeah.
They had an apartment in the hills. We'd always hang out at my sister's apartment. Always. It was so much smaller than our house, but it was where we all hung out. Obviously we built this house, and we gave my other house, or we rent my other house to my sister. We only hang out at my old house. We're always at my old house. When they're there, we're at my old house, and we were never there. And by the way, you've seen this backyard.
You know that you should be here.
Yeah, right. And
This
so
is insane.
this
is how fucked up families are. Like families are like couches that are worn in. Like you can't poof it out. That's just what it is.
Yeah, it's interesting because you would never notice. We all get along really, really well.
Yeah.
Except for those moments where push comes to shove and you can see whose team's on whose team.
No, this is
like COVID. Yeah. Oh, like COVID, this fucking COVID this run. Leanne got fucking COVID. Oh, fuck. I mean, that was a shit show. Oh, fuck me. It's really interesting. So when you talk about you and your brother, I go, just keep it that way. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Charlie Sheen to just get prostitutes. That's all you need.
Keep everyone out.
Yeah, keep everyone out.
Yeah, it's hard. It's so hard. I mean, I was in a serious relationship, and
how long?
2.5 years, 3 years. We were living
serious.
together, and that ended, and it was just like, and now I'm like, my brother's now in a serious relationship, and she's great, and they're living together, but like, you just see these moments from family where like, you're just like I had to, like, my mom called me once. My brother's, she's just, and I'm like, you gotta start opening yourself up. You gotta let everything go. And she starts laughing at herself, which is good. At least she hears herself. Like, it was just like, she's like I don't know. It's
those families that, like, I don't know. I always liked the family that was like a team. Like, that's what I like about my family is that they're a little territorial.
Well, then, like, people are always like, oh, fear of commitment comes out of that because you're like, I got a good thing going here. Like as far when it comes to relationships, you go, you're thinking of like, it's almost like this, like a math equation that you're trying to like figure out that is unfigure-outable. Because I remember, you talk to your friends and you'd be like, what is it like with your family? And some would be like, it's perfect. I'm so happy with my situation, with my wife gets along and the kids get along and the parents come over. And then you talk to other people, they go, it's a fucking mess every day.
See, that's one of the things I had a hard time with when, and if you ever have girls, this will happen, but as Georgia got older, and not Isla yet, but as Georgia got older, she wanted her space from me. And I was like, my family was never like this. And like she started like disliking me, especially as I like set up rules. We started butting heads pretty heavily. And it was, I mean, it fucked me up because that wasn't my relationship with my family.
Well, especially because you're a guy. It's a different thing with I don't, my brother and I, we go, everyone just played sports, everyone watched the game. Like that was never, there was no like, well, I'm gonna go and put on some emo music and write in my diary. It was like, no, the Patriots are playing, you're sitting here, you're watching it with us. And then if we're mad at each other, but you're just angry watching the Patriots, like it wasn't like, it would go away. Everything was kind of, and you could kind of ignore. I think men especially, we can ignore shit by just talking about like a game or sports or whatever it is. And I don't know. I think I'm sure having a daughter, it's like this whole other beast.
Oh, it's
like,
dude. I mean,
that you don't even know because you don't experience it.
This morning I was, well, like, I don't know. This morning I got up with her and made her breakfast, and they're doing this thing at school, so she couldn't take her car. So me and Leanne drove both the girls, and I'm just like, I'm in the car going, I go, are you fucking mad at me? And she was like, then I'm like, my dad would never say, are you mad at me? My dad would never be like, are you mad at me?
I'm sensing a vibe in this car. Can you imagine your dad? Like,
never in a million years would he be like, what did I do? Like,
it's so awkward here. It's like in the car that you paid for. Like the idea that like my dad,
the sandwich I fucking made for her. I got up early and made her sandwich. And then Isla's like, can you get us Starbucks? And I was like, I'm making breakfast for everyone. You want me to put this on pause, put an order in, go get everyone their Starbucks, and then bring it back? I was like, no.
What am I, an assistant?
I was like, have a cup of coffee. And I was like, you want coffee? Get a fucking coffee.
Now, are they dating?
No. I don't know. I'm completely blind to all of that. Like I said to someone, like, I'm oblivious. Like I remember talking to a friend, and before, like, I was like, oh yeah, she goes and hangs out with her friends at this parking garage, and I'm such an
parking garage.
Yeah, and he was like, "What do you think they're doing there?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "They're killing fucking alcohol." And I was like, "No, not my kid." And
Not my kid.
That's how I was, and so I don't know about any of that.
It's so amazing. I mean, the idea that I can see you being that way, but also at the same time knowing you like you're Van Wilder. Like the idea that you didn't.
That I'm oblivious
that
to the fact that
it's like but that's love too. That's like every dad, like I wonder about the dating thing because we get questions like the podcast I do is like dating relationship, and it's questions from the audience is like 90% women, and you get questions from them, and it's like you can tell like there's so much stuff that comes from family. There's so much stuff like that, like we talk about this on the podcast all the time. Like when a lot of my female friends go home, they get asked about their relationships right away. That's the first question they get asked.
Really?
As they get older, who are you dating? Who are you dating? Who are you dating? And like if I went home, I get asked like, how's work? Yeah. So it's like an unfair societal thing. And it's
we
like,
definitely don't talk about dating in our house.
Well, it's early too. I don't know. You wonder like, when does that kick in? That like a dad's like, who you bringing home for me, daughter?
It better not. Yeah, I don't want that. I definitely don't want boys coming back home from college. I will not.
Never.
I mean, it can happen, but I'm not. I'm like,
this might be a thing you're gonna have to.
Oh, it's gonna be. I'm gonna have a problem with it. I'll definitely have a problem with it. Wow, I can't believe it. I've never even thought about that. And now I'm just like, hey man, I'm flying you home to hang out with me.
Yeah.
Not your fucking boyfriend. If you want to hang out with your boyfriend, do it up at fucking college.
Now you're
dad. Coming to my house to hang out with me. I miss you. What the fuck?
Just some guy.
Hey dad, this is Jeremy.
Hey Jeremy, where are you staying? Do your parents live in LA? Because you're not staying here, motherfucker. God damn it.
But you got that cool studio. I'll just curl up on one of those couches.
Hey, Jeremy, I want to introduce you to my friend Uncle Joey Diaz. Listen, cocksucker. I'm not. Maybe I'll be different. I've just been very inconsistent with my parenting. I've been very hypocritical with my parenting.
Where you're like friend and foe at the same time? You're friend and parent at the same time? Is that what do you mean?
No, I'm parent. I don't even know, man. I'm just fucking bad at it. Like I'm bad at all of it. I'm bad at all of it. Like,
that can't be true.
I'll tell you what. I had a conversation with Snoop one time about it, and Snoop is a way better parent than I am, and I mean, just the way he handles shit was so fucking cool about anything.
What was the thing that made you go, "Wow, Snoop Dogg is doing this better than me"?
I can't even talk about it because it was just private conversation. Okay. But there
was a thing that made you. You watched a thing.
I was the thing I was going through, and I was with Snoop at the time when I was going through it, and he noticed that I was going through something, and he was like, "What's up?" And I confided in him what I was going through, and his take on it was so sensible. Now that I know the right way to deal with certain things, and it was like, "Hey, man, do you love them?" Like. I remember one time my dad said to me, I thought maybe the girls had been partying or something. I just thought something was off. But it was also that this was the bad part of my parenting when I was like super suspicious of everything. I mean,
you can't do that.
If they came in the house giggling, I'd be like, "What are you guys on?" Like
that's not fun.
Yeah, and they were just it, and it's by the way, it's my OCD and my anxiety that's causing it. It's not real. Like. When I say that Georgia's, I'm sure she's partied more than I know, but it's not a lot. I mean, the kid's a great fucking kid. She fucking knits in her room. I mean, she's like a good level-headed kid. And so is Isla. But like, I got so hyper. I turned into that fucking crazy mom. I remember the mom. I won't say the kid's name, but she sent her kid to rehab. And we were like, and we knew him. And we're like, he smoked pot a couple times, and he had beer in his scooter, and now you're sending him to fucking rehab
to hang with the professional drug dealers.
Yeah, and the kid came back so fucked up, and we're like, I've been acting not lately, and not in a while, but I was acting like that. Those parents that we just blew everything out of proportion. I remember calling my dad. The girls came in giggling, and I was like, I said something to Leanne. Didn't confront the girls. They came in giggling, made some food.
Mm-hmm. So you're thinking they're high.
I was like, are they high? Are they high? Because they're just seeming to be having a good time. And Leanne's
who
like,
the fuck eats snacks?
Yeah.
You know, like.
And Leanne's like, calm down. She's like, nothing's going on. And she's like, and you're going to fucking get into a fight with them because you think if you come in giggling, you know you're high.
Yeah. You know, it's about you.
It's about me. It's all about me. And I went out back and I was like steaming. And I called my dad and he was like, what's going on? And I was like, fucking, because my fear was that I didn't want Isla. I didn't want it to get to Isla. I don't know if Isla's partied or not. I don't know. I don't really care. By the way, both girls will end up partying a fair share. They're going to do whatever the fuck they want to do.
That's what this is all about.
No one's doing coke. No one's doing mushrooms. No one's doing acid.
Sure.
If anything, it's weed and beer. But like, I didn't want it to touch Isla because Isla was still pure.
Mm-hmm.
It was about this. It's real mental health shit.
But it's also scary. You know, these things lead to worse things.
Yeah.
And it's all fear. That's what anything that makes us do something is wrong is usually some form of fear. You know, so
I called my dad and my dad goes, let me ask you a question. Are they home? I said, yeah. And he goes, are they safe? I was like, yeah. He was like, is anyone like out of control? I said, no. I said, Dad, I don't, I mean, like, I'm just so suspicious now. And he goes, listen, there are times you actually came home fucked up. And I thought, it's not worth the fight. Let him go to sleep. Ignore it. And I went, okay. And that day changed a lot because I thought, oh yeah, if they come in here throwing up and it's noticeable, say something. If they just come in a good mood, do not attack them.
No.
Because that's how I was behaving.
One time I came home when I was in I think my dad drove me home and I got home and we were hanging in the kitchen and I think I was high.
Yeah.
And I pulled out orange juice from the fridge and I opened up the orange juice, I put it down, and then I picked it up and I started shaking it with the cap off. And my dad, I remember, looked at me like his eyebrows went like, huh? Like kind of like, you're ridiculous. I'm going away. I'm going to bed. Clean this up.
Yeah.
And that was it. But I'll never forget that. Like, I know what's going on here. You are not of right mind, but I am not. You are also of right mind enough to know, clean this shit up because your mom is going to wake up and she's going to have a lot more fucking questions than me.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so it was like this. And again, that goes back to this like weird, you know, I'm in the house. What's to do about spilt orange juice? You know, like what are we going to make this into? This isn't the learning moment. The learning moment is the face I just made where I knew what was going on and I'm going to go away because it's going to fuck you, you know, because there's a worse person upstairs that's going to be way more annoying about this. So you better hurry up.
That's the thing is like, I was the worst person. Leanne was always level-headed because Leanne's like, listen, if there's a problem, I'm going to say something. It's the same with my drinking. It's the same with when if we take a full circle. When I quit drinking, and Leanne's like, I didn't think you had a problem.
Yeah.
It's like Leanne's like watching everything, going, everything's fine. I just was like, I have real, like, I think I have fucking mental issues, like legit fucking mental issues.
I mean, who doesn't?
And then I white knuckle tonight because I'm like looking at my week going, I'll probably drink. Like I'm trying to figure out what nights to stay sober. Because I was like, I want to stay sober a couple nights. But you know, it's like going into Super Bowl weekend.
No, this is the weekend.
Fucking, this is the weekend.
And it's in LA. Are you going to go to the game?
No, we're having a party here.
You are?
Yeah. We're having a party here. We're having friends over. We're doing everything in the backyard because
it's going to be a blast.
Isla hasn't had COVID yet. And she's fucking well aware of what, oh my God, tomorrow's a fucking shit show.
What's tomorrow?
Press starts at 8 a.m. And it goes until 4:30.
So drinking tonight's not a good idea.
Drinking tonight's not a good idea. I was going to. George is not here. It's just Isla. Isla's a vegan. No one's gonna eat. I get fucking pissed if no one's eating together. If everyone already ate and we're not eating dinner together, it drives me fucking nuts.
But if you're used to family dinners,
don't you? Okay, like what would be your dream scenario for a family? Like if you said, if I could just plant a family in your life right now, like you, like wife.
I don't even, I'm so far away from it.
Really?
I feel like I've started over, especially I was in a relationship and then you get out of it, you're living together and you're like, the next step.
How hard was it to get out of the relationship?
It was horrible. The whole thing, you know, you feel like you're really, again, to go back to like the party analogy, you walked in and turned off the music and you said, let everybody out, you know, and you feel like, and everyone's like, wait, I thought we were doing okay. And it's just, it wasn't the right, it's not that I don't, you know, it just wasn't the right situation for me. It was like nothing.
I used to be in relationships.
No reason breakup.
I used to be in relationships where I was not happy with the person I was dating. And I would look at other relationships and say, I wish I had what they had.
Yeah, I don't know if I did that as much as like, I'm like, there's just something off. I don't know. Like and then now I go back to like dating and then you're like, don't trust yourself enough to date again because you go, well, I don't want to disappoint anyone. You know, if you're not excited a minute one, you're like, what am I doing? And then you do think of the family stuff. You're like, you know, the perfect scenario. And right now, like, there's so much in the air. Like, I'm living in an apartment in New York City. Like, there's no even like thought of like I'm in a studio now. You know, you go from like, oh, this will be where we go and we'll go to the next place. And then right now it's just it's very New York and very on my own and then traveling, doing all the shows. And like, I'm like doing the road as much as possible and enjoying it and all that stuff. So it's like, I don't know, like I enjoyed my family so much that I'm like, I want that.
Yeah.
You know,
would you live in New York if you decided, say you fall in love and you get someone pregnant, would you stay in New York?
Yeah, I think New York is the place. But not the city. I don't know about the city.
Yeah.
I don't know. My parents are in Boca right now, and I gotta say, that's a great lifestyle.
I love Florida.
I love Florida so fucking much. And everyone talks shit about it.
Everyone trashes
it, and it's an easy punchline. But I go to Boca, and I'm just like, wow, I become retired 5 minutes after I land. Like, it is scary how well I adjust to, like, they're in a community. It is legit Seinfeld. I told a story from Boca the last time I was here. And the person I told the story about, it got back to them.
Really?
Yeah. I told the story about the two Karens that were yelling at each other at this pool. And then I referenced the guy working at the pool. And the guy working at the pool goes, I heard the whole story. It was great. Like, I was like, what the fuck? So I don't know. I just love watching the best part about Boca and like watching people there is like, it's just, you see these older Jews that have huge problems that aren't problems. Like, everyone is just, and I love it. I'm comforted by the complaints of the problemless is so much fun for me. I love that, especially when the world is just on fire. Like, it's just like these people, like my mom, like walks into restaurants. We went to a restaurant. She just goes, like, they don't operate like humans. Like, they go in a restaurant and my mom goes, freezing, freezing. And I go, and it was cold. She wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
But who handles themselves that way? Then we sit down and my dad goes, the guy pours the drink and they all say things loud enough for people to hear. The guy pours me, I started drinking what my mom drinks. I started drinking flavored vodka on the rocks. I'm like, it's my new go-to. I've been doing it. Slows me down a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll do grapefruit vodka. I'll do Citron, all Absolute.
Oh, really?
Stoli's a little too sweet. But Absolute Citron, Absolute Grapefruit, Absolute. It's my go-to now with a lime.
Nice.
And it's what my mom's been drinking. So I will drink with her. Why the fuck not? And so then I go, I'll have a Citron on the rocks with a lime. So then my dad, the guy puts the drink down. He goes, that's the pour. And I go, it's fine. He goes, I don't know. It's a shitty drink. I don't know. And my mom goes, stop it. It's fine.
That's the pour.
That's the pour. It's like, I'm living with like a hybrid Costanza Seinfeld. Like, sometimes it feels like I'm lifting like plot lines from Seinfeld. Like, it's like crazy.
How old are your parents?
They're in their 60s.
Oh, they're still young.
Oh yeah, no, they go down to Boca. They got this house and they're in this community. It's a very nice community.
You grew up in New York, right?
Boston.
Oh,
from outside of Boston. They basically got there and they were like, we're done with Boston. This is before the pandemic. And now they're just there and they're like Gulf community people.
Do they still have a place in Boston?
No, they just
sold everything and just went to Boca.
Goodbye. Couldn't stand it.
So What's a day in your parents' life look like? Because this sounds appetizing.
Oh my God! Dude.
Why don't we start retirement communities a little younger too? Because I wouldn't mind going into one in my 50s.
You would love it. There's gossip. You know, there's people they talk to, the people they don't talk. Like my dad didn't have a friend ever, and then all of a sudden we get to like. I remember one of the first times I visited. He's like, "We gotta go. There's this woman doesn't like me." I'm like, "Doesn't like you?" He's like, "I'm in a whole thing." I was like, "How are you in the gossip?" Like, my dad wakes up like so early and he does his walk. So he goes on this walk that is like hours long.
Really?
While he listens to podcasts on his phone, no headphones. So he's just, and they have an oval. So he'll walk around the oval and then he'll go, and then he comes into the house. So then he goes.
What kind of podcast does your dad listen to?
Oh, he's like, my dad's basically alt-right at this point. He's like, he's fucking, see, the minute I saw him watching OAN instead of Fox News, he's like, Fox News for pussies, you know, like, I was like, oh, we've lost him. So he's does these walks, and he would get mad that I said that. He'd be like, no, I'm whatever, you know, he goes, but he's, listen. So and then he'll come back to the house and then he'll go to the gym. He'll do stuff at the gym, like his sit-ups. He goes and swims. Then he comes back. He gets on a Peloton. He refuses to watch any Peloton thing. He just rides it. He rides it as if it's an old bike with the wind thing, the fan underneath. And then he'll talk about how he got it in the rest of the day. So like all you hear about is, got my walk in, you know me, got the walk in, got my gym in. Like he's like zetzing me about how I haven't done anything yet. And then I've been working with a trainer over FaceTime since the beginning of the pandemic. So I work with them on the FaceTime. So sometimes I'll go to this field that they have. So sometimes in between and they both have golf carts. So they just drive.
They have their own golf carts?
Both have their own.
Oh, that's great.
His and hers. So then I'll be sitting there. I'll be on FaceTime with headphones in on a field working out. He'll pull up the golf cart behind me and just watch me work out like a crazy person. And I'll be like, what the fuck are you doing? He goes, that's not bad. You know, like he's judging the workout. And then they play golf the rest of the day.
They go out and play golf?
Oh, that's all they do. And then, some days they'll, you know, and then there's always a dinner. There's always a plan. But they're always running from place to place. From doing nothing to doing more nothing. They're in a rush.
That sounds so great.
It's amazing. And they have a pool house that's detached from the house. So that's when I go down there, I'm kind of on my own. Like they got their own shit, and I just hang in that pool house. And I have a bicycle that I'll go ride out to go work out, and I'll go to eat lunch on my own, and I'll do podcasts from there. Like I can do work. That
sounds so fucking great.
It's a relaxing lifestyle, and minute one, you're like, yeah, this is great. You know, like this is, and that's the thing with my family that like they're like, do whatever you want to do. Are you doing dinner with us? And then they have these cronies. They have these friends there, like that. You're like. They're like sick. They're written from sitcoms. Like
really
every Tuesday night, they have their one friend come over who's just this older guy who comes and eats with them. And my mom's like, we got to get everything ready for Bobby Joe. Like she's like freaking out about this guy he comes every week. You're not used to him already?
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's like you've been plopped into Thursday nights on NBC. Like it's like,
oh, that sounds so fucking awesome.
It's great.
I love community. I would love that in a retirement community. Like the fact that the people, that everyone knows each other, that there's gossip, and that I love that. It's what I love about
ecosystem.
It's what I love about comedy is that we have our own little community, and but I would love that in our own. I would love the thing that I hate about what the pandemic's done is it really has shut down our group of friends because certain people have certain job requirements where they can't expose themselves.
And you have a crew. I remember, that was like the whole special was like about the crew.
Yeah, the campers.
Yeah.
We have 4 people, 4 families, us being the 4th, that we do everything with. And so like they're coming for the Super Bowl. We'll do Chinese New Year's with them this year. Mm-hmm. But it sucks because, Tom, my buddy Tom can't go to a lot of things because he's in a bubble because he's making a movie. So he can't do a lot of things because he's got to stay COVID negative. So sometimes his whole family, like I had a thing for for this award. I won this award from Variety or something, and we had a big party, and Tom showed up, and he wasn't comfortable with the amount of mass that he saw, and so he had to leave. And I know you're like, sucks, but he's got to be responsible to his movie.
And also, there's a way to leave, and there's a way to not leave.
Yeah, he left the right way. He just
left the right way.
Yeah,
probably.
He was like, hey man, I wish I could stay here and party with you, but I have responsibilities.
Yeah, he didn't say to everyone, "Look at all you assholes."
Yeah,
he just said, "We gotta go."
And one of the families, the kids have pretty bad asthma. The dad has bad asthma, so it's been pandemic's been fucking bullshit for us.
Yeah,
and so if we do stuff like we do the Super Bowl, we'll do it outside.
Which is that's a blessing in itself. Like winter in New York during that shit. Like a lot of it I was spending in Boca just because I was like, I gotta be able to walk and get a coffee in New York.
Yeah.
Like that is a part of my day. Walking, getting a coffee, being on my headphones, on my phone, that is a part of a New York City lifestyle that I need. The minute it got too cold to sit outside and have a coffee, I was like, I gotta get out of here.
I miss my coffee spot was Starbucks on 6th Avenue, like 6th Avenue and 12th Street. There was a Starbucks up there, and just below Gray's Papaya.
I know.
And there was a bookstore right there. My day was I'd get up, I'd walk up to that Starbucks, I'd get my joke book. This is before I knew that Frappuccinos had calories in them. I'd get a Venti Frappuccino.
It's liquid.
And I'd just murder that, get jacked on caffeine.
Yeah.
And then I'd go into a bookstore and I'd find books. And then I'd take a nice big long walk, come back, and then, and then spots at night.
Yeah.
Oh, I miss New York for that.
Do you come back and do spots ever? Why?
No, every time I'm in New York, it's for press, and I want to run into people. I want to say hi to people, and I do spots if I show up at the Cellar, I'll get on stage, but it's usually just because they're like, hey, why don't you get on stage?
But I think about that all the time. Like you were at the Cellar like every night.
Yeah, every night, the Cellar and the Boston Comedy Club.
Is that weird to think back? Like I'm doing the Cellar thing now. Yeah. So I'm like, even now because I'm on the road, I'm like doing one night at the Cellar, and it almost feels like I'm there it feels like my night off. Like I'm on vacation. Like it's like good to be back in a familiar place amongst comics, and it feels like I'm like at the comedy country club, so to speak.
Yeah.
And is it weird to think that that's a part of
I'm that way with the store right now. Because I haven't been in the store. Every time I went to go to the store, it was closing because of the pandemic, and I get my avails they ask me my avails every week, and every week I'm on the road, and then if I get 1 week home, I'm working. I'm with the girls, or I'm doing podcasts, I don't have, and Georgia goes to college next year, so I'm trying to cram it. I really feel outside of the comedy community sometimes, because I'm like, I don't have the time. I'm touring so much.
No, I would assume you would think of it the same way I do, where you going to the store on a night, that would be like visiting a golf club.
Yeah,
that's not
I don't have
work
time
night.
for anything. I was going to go to the store tonight, and then it got away from me, and I was like, you know what? I was like, well, maybe we'll take Isla to dinner. Maybe we'll try to do something as a fan, because I'm juggling. I'm wearing a lot of hats. The other thing that sucks is that, 2 of my nights in every month, or 4 nights every month, I'm in Austin doing podcasts with Tom.
Oh.
And so that's the other side of it, where you're like, oh.
Well, no, I just it's that's the freedom everyone wants in comedy, though.
Yeah.
To be able tonight's not the night. That's
the freedom you want.
You're winning. That's achieving at that point.
I've busted my ass enough to get to a place where I can. But it's weird. It's bizarre. I don't know. I never thought it would be this, because I worked so hard to get to a place where I was past everywhere.
Yeah.
That I could go, so I could work whenever I wanted.
Yeah.
That now and then all that work got me to where I am, where I'm doing these tours, and these tours are a necessity. That's what I love touring more than anything out of all the things I do. And now and then other opportunities show up, and then those opportunities become priorities because they are bigger, like movies and TV shows.
And it's also, you get the chance to be creative in a different way. It's fun.
Yeah.
There's no,
I just never thought it would be this. When I started, I thought my goal was like, can you imagine getting the good spots at the Cellar or at Catch a Rising Star or the fucking Laugh Factory or at the store or at the Improv.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine getting good spots? I remember thinking, can you imagine being able to bump people? Like, I was like, that would be fucking insane.
Yeah.
I was like, a Please Allow would be so fucking amazing. To just call up that night and go. And I remember fantasizing about what those comics' lives must be like. Like, I remember seeing a Please Allow for like Adam Sandler. And I was like, whew. So like, what is he doing? Now I look at it and I go, oh, he must have had to work because he's got so much other shit going on and a family. It's like, oh, he must have
something. He needed material.
He needed to do something.
Yeah, he needed something.
And so like right now, I know I need to go. I also don't find a ton of, there's not a lot of value in me doing a 15-minute spot.
Yeah.
Because the way I'm working right now, every bit's, I would go, there's one bit I'm working on right now that I want to go and take to the store and run in, but I want to run 3 rooms. I want to do belly room, that room. I wouldn't mind just doing it in the belly room. But there's one bit that it needs work bad. And then there's a couple bits where I go, I got to find out if these are actually funny.
Yeah.
But
it is what you're saying is so true though, because it's like, even I remember doing open mics being like, can you imagine having the time that I could go on stage? I don't have to wait in line. And then you get the time and you go, can you imagine getting the good time? And then just like you're saying, and then you could get the good time and I sit there going, imagine bumping something. Imagine coming in and doing anytime you want.
I remember being in the back of the store thinking, imagine if you did theaters. Like, imagine that. Like, I was doing clubs and I was selling well at clubs. But I was like, can you imagine being able to sell theaters? And then I remember sitting at the store one night going, Sebastian's doing arenas? Can you imagine doing arenas?
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting here going, can you imagine just doing spots? Like, that would be so great to just.
Yeah.
It's funny, man. I think grass is always greener on the other side of the fence.
Always.
And so, but I've fantasized, and I was going to do this. I was going to move to New York for a month and just do spots and just work. And I can't remember what happened with that, but I was going to move to New York for 1 month, get an apartment or stay in a hotel and just fucking work on my set. But I probably do more stand-up than anyone doing stand-up. I mean, I'm on stage 8 hours. I mean, this week, Tom did 17 shows in LA. I mean, that's like fucking the amount of shows that we are putting out doing on a fucking, I mean, I'm doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday every week. 2 shows, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So roughly, and
it's not even, and there is such a thing as too much.
No, stand up.
I think. Well, sometimes I take it for granted. I'm like,
like I'll have
wasted.
This week. I'll have this week off. I should definitely do a spot at the store this week. I should definitely call in and see if I can get on because I need to work on this story because I don't know if it's funny or not. And sometimes at the store you can take a story and they'll be like, that just works with your fans. That doesn't work with regular people.
You come in there,
and
you're like, wait, this isn't an arena. Like you have that moment.
And you're like, because there's things that, I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. I'm like, I get so, it's so funny. I sat next to Amy Schumer one time at an airport. It was a long time ago. And she said to me, it was almost like not a plea for help, but like, she goes, I'm so busy. And I was like, yeah, I know. I bet. She was like, no, like, I'm really busy. Like, it's kind of making me crazy. And I was like, how busy are you? And she was like, Bert, I'm like fucking overwhelmed. And I remember going like, that's interesting. And then Kevin Hart would say, I'm the hardest working man in showbiz. You know what's so funny? I had no perspective to how hard he was actually working. Now in retrospect, watching those videos that he was putting out of him running marathons and fucking starting businesses and doing laugh out loud, like doing all these things. Now I look back and I go, motherfucker, man.
He wasn't wrong.
He wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
He wasn't wrong at all. He wasn't wrong. He was very lucky to get in those situations, but he took that luck and doubled the fuck down. Do you ever think look at like Rogan and Segura and Kevin Hart and Amy Schumer and like the people that are like Bill Burr with All Things Comedy, people that are really killing it. Do you ever think do you think that way, or do you think, is that macro? Because I think micro sometimes. See,
I'm in my small corner of what I do, like I'm always like, how do you grow it? You just want more. I guess it's, I don't know. I think like in simple form, you go, how do I get more people to know about what I do?
How do you get more people to know what you do? And how do you convert them to fans?
And it's like,
get them to buy a ticket to come see you do stand up.
It's the heart. And and then it comes back to like, you see what people are doing now. Like, look what people are doing now. Every comic is putting out a clip a day.
Yeah.
They're praying to Father Algorithm. They are hashtagging it up and putting out videos, TikTok, Instagram. People are paying people. People with nothing are paying people to like get the videos done. People who are just 4 years in are putting out videos every day of their stand-up. And you go, and you would probably look at them, and I look at someone 4 years in putting out videos, and I go, there's got to be another direction. Maybe I wouldn't want to put my stuff out 4 years in.
I think there's an urgency with we were doing that. Everyone's got their version of that. For us, it was CDs, because we were the generation that it was easy to edit a CD. Like I edited my CD on my laptop and made it myself, and then printed it, and then I had a CD that I paid nothing for, and it was like $1 a CD, and I sold them for 10. So it was just massive fucking profit.
Yeah.
And so, but I remember Flip Schultz had like 10 CDs, and I remember thinking, there's no way you've released 10 specials.
well, it's like, it's funny because you're doing that to like produce revenue, now people are doing that to produce followers to get revenue. And it's like, everyone kind of is trying to be their own network of sorts. It's like everyone's like, I got my, like for me, I'm doing 8 podcasts right now.
Really?
That's fucking insane. It's stupid.
Jesus.
I have two J Train, 2 U Up. That's with Betches, which is, a multimedia company that I work with, and they're great. And then another one with Betches for the Bachelor. And then I'm doing Patreon. And the Patreon are 3 extra a week for $5 a month. And then I'm doing a radio show with Spotify in their greenhouse, because they were like paying people, and it's an hour a week. But it's like, there's a point where I'm like, it's too much. Nobody wants to listen to me that much, like at all.
But I definitely feel like I talk too much.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I have that much to say. Like a part of me goes, I wish I was like the comics that were more topical, like, but my everything for me is story.
But you're giving people, like, people love you for that.
But I end up oversharing to fill content.
Well, then you go, what's the, if you think of it like in terms of economics, what's the like you see someone who does 1 podcast a week and they put it out and they have 1 Patreon, and I go, would I be better? Would everyone just go to those 1, 2? If I went down to 2, am I over? Would I make 2 better ones, or would I make 2 the same that I make already? And it's like, I think now when I think of things, it does feel more like businessy than comedy.
It's interesting when it, because podcasting initially, and I think initially it was just fun.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it was just, you only did it for fun. Like they were so much fun to go up to Rogan's house and to get high and drunk and just be like, and just talk.
Well, like, the difference now is a trip to Rogan's house for you now is a business trip.
Oh, it's definitely, I got to get a fucking flight down to Austin.
Yeah, that goes on a credit card that you can write off.
And by the way, it's with that many eyes on it. I mean, you can't say anything. I mean, well, you get high. Like I got high, and I got very high and very drunk last time I did it, and they pulled it down. Spotify pulled it down, and I had a panic attack. I was like, what did I say? Like, I
Sure.
don't remember it. I don't remember. We did a 5-hour podcast. I don't remember it at all. And we had a blast, and we went out that night and we partied, and I fucking barely caught my flight the next morning. But
it was so unimportant and then became important.
It was so much fun, man. Back in the day. I mean, it still is. It's still
Sure,
doing this podcast is still a blast, but it's a blast. I get to catch up with a friend.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, 2 Bears, 1 Cave. 2 Bears, 1 Cave is, it's interesting because we used to have during the pandemic, it was our only outlet.
Which is I watched the Kool-Aid dude, dying.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's the other thing that like we have to always remind ourselves. Like 2 people having fun is always going to be a better podcast than 2 people talking about how people got mad that 2 people had fun.
Yes.
You know, and we forget that. Like I get on these, sometimes I go on these podcasts, and I'm like, I like when there's like a built-in thing, because then you can never get away from the built-in thing. And sometimes you go on these things and there it's like, we got to talk about the thing that only we care about. Like someone's at home, they just want to hear 2 people fucking talking about how they order at a restaurant. Like I really do believe that. And
it's gotten like, I mean, 2 Bears, 1 Cave's fun in a different way now because I don't see Tom all the time.
It's 2 friends catching up, having fun, having giggles.
Yeah.
Like that's what people, it's weird that is actually like a niche market. Like there's more of the serious one now than that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And like that to me, like that's what people want to, you ever see that meme of the person listening to a podcast and it's like them, it's a human, it's like a person sitting next to a billboard and they're laughing with the people who are laughing on the billboard.
No,
if you look it up, if he's around to look it up, it's a meme where it's me listening to podcasts, me listening to my favorite podcast meme. And it's like, that's, people want to be able to have fun without having to interact with other people.
Oh
Yeah. Me, how it feels listening to podcasts. This guy's sitting there on the ground laughing next to these 3 women laughing on a billboard. And it's like, I think about this all the time. It's like, if we're, chilling.
Yeah.
People want that.
I think it's, I mean, I think, I think overthinking a podcast sometimes, like I'll go on to a podcast and it'll be like, there'll be a theme to it. And I won't, like, I'm never good when people do a podcast and they're characters.
Oh no.
I'm never good at those because I don't know. I'm really weird about that. Like, I'm just like, I don't know. Like I remember doing two comics had this podcast and it was all a character world that they lived in.
Uh-huh.
And I got there and I just was so bad on it because I was like, is this a bit? Or I'm fucking horrible at that. But I like the ones where you just hang and talk. And it can be funny and then it can be like serious, or that's the same thing with 2 Bears. I mean, I'm a fucking idiot and I have weird thoughts. Then weird thoughts get serious and then you're like getting into this great conversation. Like Tom and I did one the other day and we were talking about art. And what art is, and like, why is it? Could I tell art? And then how do people know what's cool to wear? Like how does Kanye have fashion sense? And
well, but you're 2 buddies, you're 2 good friends.
Yeah.
Like that's the most important part. Like part of the eruption. I watch that every day.
Yeah.
I could watch Tony and Mike talk about anything, and it's sometimes now you see like these podcast companies, they're like, I auditioned for a podcast. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
Who's going to listen to that?
When the corporations, and I don't mean, like, obviously I think it's very cool that Spotify stood by Joe, but like when they start create, like there were production companies at the time creating podcast bundles of going, we need a true crime podcast. We needed this podcast. We needed that podcast. And I was like, that kind of steps away from like the inception of it was just like, I mean, WTF is a great fucking podcast.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that podcast began with him apologizing to people.
Yeah.
And that's what, and then all of a sudden he got better guests, and you were like, well, he doesn't know this guy, but Mark's interviews are really fucking amazing.
But I like this person. I trust this person to ask questions that I've come to know them to ask.
Mark asks questions I never even thought I wanted to know.
And you trust him.
And Joe's the same one. Joe's the same way, where his podcast is like, all of a sudden, like, dude, my favorite one's Lex Friedman. I fucking listen to his podcast all the time. He's fucking amazing. He asks the best goddamn questions, but he has on people that I like. Our interests don't always overlap.
Sure.
Like he's into like robotics and AI or AEI. I don't know, whatever it is.
All that shit scares the fuck out of me. I don't even
like,
get in. Like Metaverse, what do you think of that?
Well, I just got an Oculus, so I'm pretty fucking overwhelmed by it. Like
I got sent one. I haven't opened it up yet.
Oh my God. We did it in here, and I was like, Brian Simpson showed it to me, and he was like, you're going to love this. I put it on, and I was like, this is a different world.
Hold on. I went to the dentist. And they were like, do you want the Oculus? Well, because the dentist was like, well, I get a message. Hey, if you post on Instagram, I'll give you a cleaning and a whitening. I go, fuck yeah. I go in. It's this like very trendy dentist place in the city. They go, okay, you're going to just start the whitening. You want an Oculus? I was like,
what do they do? What's in the Oculus?
So they put it on, and I'm like, I like you said, it's like a different world. I was like, this is crazy. And they give me the controllers. They're like, well, you're going to be here for 15 minutes each session of whitening. It takes an hour or whatever. So I started going, but they weren't signed up for anything. Like it kept asking me to pay for shit. And I'm like, I'm on this other person's account.
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't want to pay. I'm not going to buy Sports Center.
They say they have Oculus porn that is.
Apparently it's unbelievable. Level. I got on the roller coaster and I did the roller coaster because it was the only free one. I legit midway through, I threw it off of my head because I was gonna puke all over myself. Like I couldn't handle it. Like I was like, this is too much. I got this fucking whitening shit on my teeth. I can't breathe.
We have it in the house. Maybe I'll try to fuck around with it tonight because I think I would love. I mean,
the problem is they get you with porn, and then I'm like
anti. Can you pull up Oculus porn? How good is Oculus porn?
I mean, I thought I was on a roller coaster. I almost puked from a roller coaster that I wasn't even on while in the dentist's office. So I just think this is like a dangerous, to me, what frustrates me about this stuff is like, everyone's like, we got to make sure you're ready for the metaverse. It's like, this was created by nerds to create a more comfortable world for them. Like, doesn't that frustrate you? Like,
yeah,
people with charm are being extinct. Like going into a room and being like, hey, what's your name is gone.
Oh yeah.
The thing that I think I do better than a couple people in the world.
It only works with the VR headset, so you're not going to be able to see it. It's just going to look kind of like weird and split.
Oh, it's like, yeah.
And then
see,
is she naked?
Yeah.
See, look at. I'm
look around like 360.
I'm warning you about
I gotta be a black guy and she's gotta be a child. What the fuck is this?
I'm warning you about the metaverse. And then the porn came on. It's like, yeah, we're done. We're in.
Oh, did you ever see the guest book?
So it was the show by Greg Garcia.
Yeah. It was so good. And one of the best episodes was when he was obsessed with living in the Oculus. And
I've never seen it.
It's so good. And they go, and he's like, and he's having sex in the Oculus. He only wants to have sex in the Oculus with the porn stars. And she's like, oh my God, so wait, can I put the Oculus on and then have Leanne suck my dick?
Yes. They actually have machines that you can like put over your dick that like sucks it while you watch this type of porn, and it does the same motions that she's doing. It's very advanced.
I mean, my God.
I watched the documentary.
Porn. That's gonna break me because if
you would never leave the house. I mean, just this alone. Like this is even to me very realistic. POV, POV porn.
The idea that you could go like this and then like this and then move your hands up and
oh, dude, it's over for us.
I mean, to think that I started by jerking off to a bizarre magazine, right? That was the name of and now it's turned into this. Hey, we got to set up the Oculus for porn. I want to see what that looks like.
Well, your daughters do use the Oculuses, so maybe have a different one or something.
How are like men gonna grow up ever again? Like,
we're never gonna get. How the fuck are you gonna?
Women are gonna take over the world.
Military when you can just be in an Oculus porn.
It's over.
Yeah, and you just be like, why would I live in the regular world when I could be a fucking star? Who's this?
It's just a pop up.
I was like, is that your type, Austin?
We were distracted by a pop-up. Like
we're getting viruses for sure.
All right, we should wrap this up. I'm going to go turn on this Oculus porn. What? Tell me about all the podcasts, all your podcasts.
It's so many. It's crazy. But just Instagram, at Jared Freid on Instagram. I put out stuff every day. I'm doing shows. I'm going all over the country. I'm doing all the clubs and stuff. I'm going to Cobb's in San Francisco in March. What else? Yeah, just go to at Jared Freid on Instagram. I put up my dates all the time. And it's like Hartford, and I'm doing a date in Miami with Ricky Velez, who's
he just worked with Whitney Cummings.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Ricky's the best. We're doing a co-headliner.
I don't think I've seen his special. It's on HBO Max.
So good.
Is it?
It's so
I gotta
good. He's
check.
so
what is it?
Fucking
it's on
funny.
HBO. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta check it out.
He's so funny. Yeah, we're doing a split headliner in Miami.
Give him my number if he's out in LA. I'd love to have him on the podcast.
Dude, I definitely will.
Please.
It's called Here's Everything on HBO.
Yeah, he's so good. The special's fantastic. He's so good. And then that's at Jared Freid Instagram. That's everything. And I yell if you go. Listen, if your girlfriend, because you got like male listeners, a lot of male listeners. If your girlfriend watches The Bachelor, what I'm telling your listeners is follow me. You will enjoy it with me and your girlfriend. It'll bring you closer together because I yell at The Bachelor. It's in all the episodes. You can catch up on the season. In my highlights, I have episode 1 through 5 right now. So it's like they're waiting for you. And then you will be like, I'm telling you, people come to my shows and it's like always the girlfriend with the boyfriend. They're like, we watched The Bachelor together with you. And they're like,
I gotta watch The Bachelor. I want to do it.
Dude, it's so much fun.
I'll watch The Bachelor with you.
Please. I mean, it is my greatest. I did it on my computer last night. Like I take nights off to do this. So
that's great.
And it's like the most fun. I'm like, and people get depressed by The Bachelor because they're like, a lot of women get depressed by it because they're like messing with something that they care very deeply about, dating, relationships. And I'm trying to give a perspective that's fun. Yeah. And I love doing it. So, I get to be funny.
Well, we got to bring you out on the road with us one weekend and
Dude,
have you come out in the bus.
I would love
Andrew
that.
Andrew keeps bringing it up. I'm like, yeah, fuck, everything's already booked. And I was like, we'll just throw them on. We'll do 3 comics. Have a fucking blast. We'll do it when we're doing bigger venues, so it makes more sense to have 3 comics.
Whatever it is, I'll come. Yeah, I would love to. That would be the most fun in the world.
And we'll have one of those big Bloody Marys that have a turkey in it.
So annoying.
I saw you going off on that.
I was so annoyed
because I saw that turkey margarita or Bloody Mary, and I was like, God, that's they really know how to sell to me.
Fuck. Because all I can think about is the whole thing's mediocre. It's a mediocre great. Bloody Mary. It's a mediocre turkey.
I get it. I put it on Instagram.
No. Fuck that shit. It annoyed the shit out of me.
Look at it.
Look at it. The idea, like, why can't you just have a good Bloody Mary?
It started with bacon in it.
Started with bacon.
Bacon was the first. Bacon was the canary in the mine for where we were going.
You're absolutely right. And all of us did the same thing with the bacon. We go, this is amazing.
Oh, I love bacon.
My God.
I love bacon.
And then they did candied bacon.
And then they did bacon soda. And it's a bacon hat. And you're like, God damn it. The Macon Bacons.
I see that. And it's like, it's such a metaphor to me of, like nothing. It's like eating fruit that's not good. Like you have a good when you have a good strawberry,
passion fruit or dragon fruit. One of them's like
dragon fruit.
Dragon fruit. It has no taste to it. You're like,
why am I even doing this?
Yeah.
So but there's so much of that in our world now where it's like, I'm doing this for a picture. So now I'm having a shitty Bloody Mary with a shitty fucking leg of turkey.
And I got to get rid of this fucking turkey.
And I
guess I'm taking a turkey home with me. Is this a sparkler?
And now
what the fuck am I supposed to do with this sparkler?
And now it's 5 a.m. and you're making the turkey sandwich out of that and your fried oysters. It's all.
Let me tell you something. One of those Bloody Marys will go a long way on our tour bus.
Dude, I'll bring all the flavored vodka.
All right, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We'll find it. Talk to Andrew. We'll find a weekend. We'll bring you out with us.
Thank you so much for having me here. This is so nice.
Of course, brother. You're always invited. Really you're one of my favorite people in the world.
It's so nice of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Always been supportive. Thank you, buddy.